Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, January 11th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $sign ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the AFC Wild Card Playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Kickoff is going to be here in just a few minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into some wild card playoff football. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, on the left, one of the best defensive players in the game, T.J. Watt. And on the right is Action Jackson, Lamar Jackson, baby. Let's freaking go. And congratulations to the Houston Texans on blowing out the Chargers by 20, 32-12. Herbert with 4 picks in the game, 3 picks all season. And I don't know if anyone anticipated a lopsided win like that. You know, I thought going into this wild card weekend that was actually going to be one of the, decent matchups where it might be, a little bit closer than people think, and it could go either way. But it does, it definitely shows you, on any given, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, anything can happen. The Chargers could have blown the Texans out by 20. Houston obviously got the job done at home, but a little bit of a disappointment, I feel, for Charger fans. You had Harbaugh. He got you to the playoffs, but I don't think you anticipated, the Houston playing so well since they've been struggling this year as of late. And I kind of thought going in it could have went either way, but apparently not. Houston 32, Chargers 12, and a horrible day for Justin Herbert to have his worst game of the season. But that's how it goes. Neither of those teams were going to make a deep run. It's just going to be one and done anyways. Someone had to win, and I guess it was Houston today. All right, baby, let's go. Charger is chargering. That's what they do. Yeah, and again, you would have lost money, and I think a lot of people probably lost money today betting on the Chargers or just betting on the game being closer than what we ended up getting here in that first matchup. Notre Dame and Ohio State for the Natty. Pretty exciting. I predicted those two teams would make it. They did, and Notre Dame has got a chance. Both teams got an amazing defense on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Ohio State has, better weapons at wide receiver and tight end, but you never know. Anything could happen in the Natty. We're going to have to wait about 9 or 10 days for that matchup, but I'll definitely be live streaming that. And congratulations to your Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Odin son. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir. Time for Action Jackson, baby. You know it. Sarah in the building. What's good? Let them know. Smash that like button. Let's try to get 20 within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Appreciate you, Sarah, for stepping up. You and Captain have done a good job filling in and helping me out when I need help. So I appreciate you guys. So, however you guys want to handle it. One of y'all wants to handle the likes and the other the donos. If you want to handle it that way, if you guys can do that, that would be great. Maybe Captain will do the likes and Sarah will do the donos. We'll handle it like that. And hopefully we end up getting a closer game than 32-12 that we saw the Texans beat the Chargers. Megan in the building. What's good? Nice to be able to see the Kraken win a matchup. I got a chance to watch a little bit of the matchup and not the whole thing, but glad to be able to see that they ended up being victorious. Let's go, baby. I am ready. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. And honestly, based off this matchup, if we were going to have like a 32-12 score, you would think that, the Ravens would probably do something like that to Pittsburgh. But, kind of surprised that the Chargers played so bad today. But that's what makes the playoffs exciting and also heartbreaking if you end up being the team that loses and gets blown out by 20. But again, they don't really have all the pieces yet. You're able to make the playoffs, but there's a difference between, contenders and pretenders. Just because you make the playoffs doesn't mean that you're a contender for the Super Bowl. You may just be able to get there, but again, as long as you can get into the dance, you have a chance. And hopefully this game will be a little bit closer. Pittsburgh Steelers, they're on a 4-game losing streak. So I feel that they're probably the worst team out of all the teams that were invited to the playoffs. Yes, I know the Chargers only scored 12, but going into the game, did anyone assume that Herbert was going to throw for 4 picks when he had 3 all season? No. So anyone that is like, oh, I knew that was going to happen, they're lying. No one knew it was going to be 32-12. But hopefully this one will be a little bit closer. But I got Baltimore here tonight. I don't see any scenario Pittsburgh winning this game, especially being on a 4-game losing streak. You have to be playing your best ball right now, right? And you want to be able to be 4-0 or 3-1 in December, January. And if you're 0-4 in December going into January, I don't think I've ever seen a team win a playoff game that has skidded into the playoffs, especially when you are 10-3. And then you lost 4 in a row, you're 10-7. So if the Steelers win, it'll be a miracle by the sports gods and the sports gods alone. Something crazy would have to happen. Lamar would have to get hurt. You would have to have injuries on the defense. Pittsburgh would have to have the best game of their season. And I just don't see it. I just don't see it here today. But I am hoping Pittsburgh puts up a fight, so it's not like a 20-point blowout. But don't be surprised if Baltimore beats the brakes off of Pittsburgh. They just played a couple weeks ago, obviously in Pittsburgh. What happened? Baltimore beat the brakes off of them, and I assume that we're going to get that same result here today, unless by the graces of the sports gods, they say otherwise. But it would be a damn shame to have a guy like Lamar and this Baltimore Raven team lose to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can't beat anybody. Baltimore actually has a chance to make it to the AFC Championship game. You have to think it's them, right? The Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, right? You would assume those are the 3 strongest going into the AFC side, right? And then obviously the Lions, right? The Eagles. And I don't know if I really want to say the Vikings because, again, the Vikings look good up until that Lions game, but I definitely feel the Rams have a shot at home to beat Minnesota. Minnesota is the better team, but again, you don't really know how things are going to kind of play out, especially with the fires. It got moved to Arizona. So again, we already know Chargers and Rams fans don't really exist. Whenever you watch games at SoFi, when they're at home, right, there's barely any fans there. It's usually the opposing team, that has more fans in the building. So going to Arizona, what is it going to look like? Is there going to be more Minnesota fans in the building? But even with that being said, I could definitely see the Rams, upsetting Minnesota. Minnesota was probably the 3rd best team in the NFC, but I just don't know if I trust them in the playoffs. But we'll have to wait and see. Megan with a $5 to get us started off. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5:95 to go. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. Captain's got a track of the likes, and then we got Sarah with the donos. I appreciate the 2 of you. You guys are the best. And shout out to Megan for being who she is, supporting the channel through and through, and I appreciate that very, very much. And if there's anything you want to see here, let me know, and I got you. Let me get all of my screens all situated here. Yeah, but, yes, it is divisional, but, again, I've never seen a team make the playoffs on a 4-game skid. They were 10-3, they're 10-7. So you got to be playing your best ball, in December going into January. And, they did play some tough opponents. They ended up losing to the Eagles. They lost to the Chiefs. They lost to the Ravens. So, it was tough. It's not like they ended up losing to bottom feeder teams. They were losing to good teams, but still, if you're a contender, not a pretender, you had to have won at least, 2 games out of 4 in December going into January, and going 0-4. I just don't see any scenario the Steelers winning this game. So, and again, Lamar is the real deal, and I can't wait to see what kind of show he puts on here today. Yeah, and that's very true, Hybrid. A lot of people, the Bucs are at home, and did people forget? We beat the brakes off of the Commandos week 1, 37-20. right? We were the only team to beat the Eagles and the Lions in the regular season. Yes, I know the defense and the secondary is a little weak when we don't have Antoine Winfield Jr. Hopefully he'll play this weekend, but our offense is top 5. They are top 4 in many, many categories. Baker Mayfield has been great. Mike Evans was, injured for a month, still cracked 1,000 yards. Bucky Irving is fantastic. Jalen McMillan has stepped up. So Kate Otten is a stud. Offensive line fantastic with Tristan Wirfs and Graham Barton. I'm not afraid of the Commanders. I will give them respect, and I love Jaden Daniels. I love Dan Quinn, and I love what Washington is doing this year. And again, they might be able to, beat the brakes off the Buccaneers. But going into the game, we've already played them once. I know we can play them again, and I know that there is a realistic shot that we could lose, but it is a little disgusting to see everyone picking Washington. Do they really think the Tampa Bay Bucs can't win a game? We're one of the only teams to make the playoffs every single year in the last 4 to 5 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, we had some of it with the Brady era, but you're noticing now LFB, the Baker Mayfield era, is nice. We haven't really lost that much of a step. Now, our defense isn't as good, obviously, in that Tom Brady era because we don't have the same personnel. But, again, I'll take whatever happens. If we win, great. If we end up getting our asses kicked, so be it. But, again, everybody in the media picking Washington, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm very hyped for the game. I know we have a chance. We beat them once already in week 1, 37-20. But it's not about necessarily who you play. It's when you play them. And we know Washington will probably play well. But again, we're at home. We're not on the road. It's like people are acting like Washington's at home and Tampa is a bottom feeder. I know that we can compete with anybody in the NFL. Now, I don't necessarily think that we're a Super Bowl contender. And I'll be honest, I think the Buccaneers are more of a pretender than a contender because I don't really think Washington is a contender either. I think they're just, we're in the first round. This is like the wild card. This is what it is. The strongest teams, right, are the Eagles and the Lions. I don't trust anybody else, including my Buccaneers. So if I end up overachieving, beating Washington, and then somehow, making it to the NFC Championship game against the Lions or the Eagles, I will be shocked. But again, you never know what could possibly happen. But all I got to think about is just beating Washington tomorrow, and we will be doing that live stream. And hopefully, whatever happens, that we end up playing with some pride and we don't get our ass kicked out there. So, but very true. Very, very true. I've been seeing Washington on a lot of the quote-unquote experts' picks. And again, they're a sexy story. They're good. But it's not like Tampa is a shit team. We're not going to put up a 12 like the Chargers did. Just saying. Got you. Let's go, baby. Russell Wilson pass incomplete to Freiermuth. Uh-oh, 2nd down and 10 on the Pittsburgh 20. Russell Wilson. And, Freiermuth, you got to be able to catch that right out of the gates. Come on, my guy. Shotgun set. Little check down. Darnell Washington with the short game. Third and inches. Shotgun set. Handoff right up the gut. First down, Steelers. And again, if I'm Pittsburgh, I definitely would be sprinkling in Justin Fields. Obviously Russ has lost, 4 games in a row. And you're going to go with him because, obviously that's what Tomlin wants to do. But I feel like ownership, is putting the pressure on to be able to get Fields out there. And I don't think it would hurt them, considering how bad they've played in the last 4 games to, maybe have Fields go out there for a couple drives to see what he can do. Not saying that he should take over the offense 100%, but, it can't get any worse than what we've seen out of Russ. But again, it's not all his fault. A lot of it is the offensive line getting dominated because that's the weakest part of their team. But also Russ has been hanging on to the football a little bit too long as well. Floater, incomplete. Yeah, well, I don't think that, you'll have to worry too hard about the Steelers winning this game. I mean, they're on a 4-game losing streak. I've never seen a team on a 4-game losing streak that is skidded into the playoffs win a playoff game. So, and they're on the road. They played just a couple weeks ago in Pittsburgh, and Baltimore just beat the brakes off of them. And I assume that's exactly what we're going to get here today. So, but if the offensive line was better for Pittsburgh, I think Russ would play better. But again, not a Super Bowl contender by any means. I feel out of all the teams in the playoffs going into the wild card, I know the Chargers put up 12, but no one predicted that. I think that Pittsburgh is the worst team out of all the teams in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think they have some dogs on the team like TJ Watt and a few others that, are likable, but, they just don't got it, man. Russell Wilson scrambles there for 2 yards, 4th down and 4. Yeah, well, we don't want the Ravens to lose against the fucking Steelers. Again, even if you're not a Raven fan, we want good matchups in the playoffs, right? And again, you got to think, you got the Bills, you got the Ravens, and the Chiefs. You don't want the Ravens to lose to the fucking Steelers. We want good matchups moving forward. So, having the Steelers, if they earn it and the Steelers win, fine. But I'm just saying, moving forward, I don't want to see Pittsburgh get lucky in a game and then absolutely get destroyed by like 30 the next. Because again, with the Ravens, they're good enough to make it to the AFC Championship game. You got to think they're one of the 3 teams that actually can do it. Them, Buffalo, right? And then obviously the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the 3 strongest. And then you got the, Eagles and the Lions, and that's it. Those are the top 5 teams right now. And the only 5 teams that I think that could really be Super Bowl worthy, But we'll have to wait and see. And again, you could have said, yeah, the Vikings are the 3rd best team. They are maybe team number 6, but again, I don't trust them. Again, the way that they played against the Lions, and just like Hybrid said, with the Vikings, it's either they blow a team out or they look like shit. There's not really an in-between. So I just don't trust that team. I like Jetta. I like the way that Sam Darnold has played for the most part. I like Addison a lot. I like Hawkinson, the defense. I like some of those guys that they got on there as well. But gosh, I just don't trust them. And I think that Rams game is a trap game. And I think that the Rams aren't as good as Minnesota. But again, if the game is going to be played regardless in LA or if it's going to be in Arizona, where the Cardinals play, I really do think the Rams have a shot to upset Minnesota. So, but again, a lot of people might think the Commandos are going to beat the Bucs or, however it's going to go. But I think one thing is for sure, I thought going in that maybe one of the most close matchups was the Chargers and the Texans, because I'm not really a believer in either one. They both are just in the playoffs, but they're both pretenders. But I had no way predicting that Houston would win by 20. Herbert had 3 picks all year, threw 4 in the game. No one could have predicted that. But that's what makes, the playoffs interesting. Sometimes teams overachieve, Houston, and some teams end up playing like shit, the Chargers. And that's just what happens. That's not who the Chargers are, but that's what showed up today, obviously, in the AFC wild card. So, all right, Ravens, your turn, baby. You know what? I do too. And even though Stafford is old as hell, they got Kyron Williams. They got the better running back, right? They got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and then Jared Verse and some of the guys on the defense. I think that, obviously it's very easy to say, oh, Minnesota, because of their record. But if you throw the records out the window, again, Minnesota is kind of a streaky team. They're not, their record says they're consistent, right? And they, obviously won a shitload of games, 14. But again, there's just like that inner gut feeling that you have. And for me, like I said, I feel that if there was a trap game out of all the games today, tomorrow, or on Monday, that's probably the biggest trap game. And again, if the Rams lose, they lose, but I think they have a legitimate shot to upset Minnesota. I agree with you. I agree with you there, Hybrid. Amber in the building. What's good? Man in motion. Lamar, hands off. Oh, short game. Derrick Henry. What's good, Amber? Flag on the play. All right, hold on one sec. Okay, here we go. Lamar Jackson there. I see you scrambling and gambling for 1 yard, 2nd down and 9. Little minimal game by Lamar. Yeah, and like I said, if Minnesota wins, they should. Based off their record, they're 14-3. Again, but I don't trust them like I trust Detroit or Philadelphia. But anything could happen. Green Bay could upset Philly. It would be shocking, but it could happen tomorrow. The Commandos could beat the Bucs. I don't really know who's the favored team in that. But again, a lot of upsets could happen, and we're only going to know until they roll these games out, and we'll find out what teams show up and what teams show out. Lamar keeping it again. Third down and 1. All right, Odin. And then Lamar keeping the football himself. First down, Ravens. First down and 10 at the Baltimore 31. And I don't mind Lamar, using his legs. It's like the one guy in the NFL at quarterback. You have no problem whatsoever, if he calls his own number, reading the defense, or if the coach says, hey, I want you to improv, and if you got to run. Like a lot of times back in the day when you had like Colin Kaepernick and RG3, they got to a point where they were abusing the power and they were just running when they shouldn't. And you can tell Lamar is one of those guys. He's always going to look for his teammates first, but he's such a weapon with his legs that sometimes you just got to take off and go. Lamar towards the sideline again. They want a little horse collar or whatnot. Some of the teammates going after him. 4-yard gain, second down and 6 at the Baltimore 35. I don't know. You would have to look it up on PFF. If you look it up on PFF, it'll give you all the information on what Green Bay's run defense is ranked, at this point. Because obviously they update the rankings every week. So I usually try to keep up with, all of the rankings of all the different categories as much as I can. Lamar, little check down. There we go. Mark Andrews, baby. I like that for 7 yards. First down, Ravens. Let's go. Matt in the building. What's good, brother? First down and 10 here for Lamar. Man in motion. Hand off. Oh, baby. Look at Henry rumbling and a bumbling. First down, Ravens. Ravens are fun to watch, again, normally Pittsburgh, like in the Ben Roethlisberger era, it was completely different, but again, they haven't been able to find that type of quarterback since then. Ben Roethlisbergers, they don't grow on trees, you're not going to be able to just be like, oh, I'm going to find another one, them thinking like Kenny Pickett and some of these other guys were going to be good enough. Not so chance, not so fast. Yeah, Ravens got cool colors. They got great players. They got a good coach. Again, the one thing about the Ravens that isn't as good, and obviously we all know this, right, is the defense, right? You lost McDonald, to the head coach of the Hawks. So that part of the ball, that side of the ball isn't as dominant as it used to be. But again, at times they can still show flashes of what they were in the past. Facts. I mean, we got spoiled, in that Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli, era. But again, we might have a big three, with Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix. So. One sec here. There we go. Hold up here. I gotta get my volume all situated here. One sec. Touchdown, Ravens. Lamar Jackson to Rashad Bateman. 16 yards. Touchdown, Baltimore. Beautiful. And no Zay Flowers today, so you knew that this was going to be a guy that they were going to be looking at to take over. And does he take over? Yes, he does. Very quickly as well. Nice job, Ravens. Nice job. Nice route there by Bateman. Extra point is up and good. 7-0 Baltimore. And again, I don't see Pittsburgh, even getting to 20 points in this game. I think the highest that they could get is probably 17, unless they end up getting a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. If that happens, then they might be able to crack 20. But, this one kind of feels that it could get ugly, like a 34-17 kind of game, or maybe even worse. But we'll have to wait to see how it, kind of plays out. But great start so far. Lamar, Henry, Bateman, boom shakalaka, 7-0 Ravens. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think anyone, I got a neighbor down the road from me that always puts up a Pittsburgh Steeler flag, on game day, but it, kind of made me chuckle because it's like, man, you guys haven't won in a month. You guys, you lost 4 straight. Like, what are the chances of you losing 4 straight and then all of a sudden having the best game of the season? The likelihood of that happening is 0. So, it's cool to be loyal, but this Steeler team, again, they're never going to be relevant unless they end up getting a quarterback like Roethlisberger and improving that offensive line. That offensive line is terrible, and hopefully one day it'll improve. But again, if they can ever get the right combination of quarterback and offensive linemen, yeah, Pittsburgh could end up, overachieving one day and making the AFC championship game. But, based on how the team sits right now, again, they're lucky to even be in the playoffs. I think a lot of us would have rather seen Cincinnati, because even though the Bengals, obviously had a rough record, they were the hottest team that didn't get in, kind of like the Michigan Wolverines, after they beat Ohio State, they beat Bama. So, even though, you weren't able to make the college football playoff and the Bengals weren't able to make the playoffs, if they were in the playoffs, they would actually have a chance not only to win against Pittsburgh, but they would actually have a chance in this game against Baltimore. Cincinnati would have a chance against Buffalo, and Cincinnati would have a chance against Kansas City. You can't say that about any other team that's not in the playoffs right now. And I think that all of you guys understand that as well. Joe Burrow, with what they have with Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the way that they've been playing, yeah, they don't have a defense, but T-Rex has been leading the league in sacks every fucking year forever. So, again, sometimes one single guy on the defense can take over the game, like a T.J. Watt or a Trey Hendrickson. And, I think that the AFC teams are breathing a little bit easier that Pittsburgh is in and Cincinnati is not, because if the Bengals were in, you never know how far they could go. I know they don't have a defense, but they're like the only team that doesn't have a defense that actually could beat the top opponents in the AFC. Facts. 7-0 Baltimore. Yeah, and Cincinnati has more exciting players. Joe Burrow, more likable than Russell Wilson. Jamar Chase, the best wide receiver in the game this year. Chase Brown has been amazing filling in. Obviously, with Zach Moss getting injured, he took over the number 1 RB1 role. T-Rex, one of my favorite players on defense. The most underrated, talented defensive player that doesn't get love or credit. Trey Hendrickson, it would have been sweet, but again, they just lost too many games early on and they paid the price late, and they would have been much more exciting to watch in this game or in another matchup than what we have here. But again, they do have the rivalry. Obviously Steelers, Ravens hate each other, but besides that, I don't know how they're going to manufacture any points unless it's going to be going through Najee, Jalen Warren. George Pickens pretty much gives up on the team on every other route. So, he's got the skill set, but he doesn't have the maturity. So, I don't really know how you're going to be able to manufacture points, out of this Pittsburgh offense, but we'll wait and see. First down and 10. Russ, little trick play. I don't know what that was. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Is that the only way that they feel they can manufacture first downs or points? They have to do like some flea flicker? Oh, God. Is that what they've if you're going to be so desperate to do that, just put in Justin Fields for the whole game. I mean, it can't get any worse than going 0 for 4 in December and January with Russ, right? And obviously Fields is a better runner. He could actually extend plays. Now, they both can't throw, right? But again, one guy can run, the other guy can't. So, if it's me, I think that you have a better chance to win with Fields. Both of their arms are average, but at least Fields can run away from the Raven defense. Russ cannot. Wilson on 2nd and 13, check down. That's pretty much all he can do. Minimal gain there. 3rd down and 7 on the Pitt 33. Said, rise the flock up. Let's go. STL in the building. What's good? How's the weather out there? Shotgun set on 3rd down and 7. Russ looking for a target. It's got Freiermuth open. And a good tackle there by the Ravens. Missed one tackle, but then you had a 3rd Raven clean it up there at the end. Nice job by Humphrey and company. I see you. And here comes the punting unit. And it's crazy because, the way that Justin Fields played in the beginning, they were winning games, but it wasn't really necessarily pretty. Russ came in, in October, November, and played pretty good, and kept the winning streak going. But then obviously hitting that schedule, of playing the Ravens and then the Eagles and the Chiefs, and then going on that 4-game skid, they haven't been able to recover, mentally or physically after losing those 4 games. Facts. All right, see if we can squeeze in a few more photos here for Megan. We're at 5:95 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 and hit the algorithm. And then if we get some volume, maybe 25 to 30, 30 to 50, depending if that happens. And then obviously we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos. We're at 5:95 to go. Let's go, baby. Yeah, the worst thing that you can have for your offense is a quarterback that you don't trust, Russell Wilson, and an offensive line that can't block. So, and again, for years and years and years, they've had these issues. Seattle has had issues. Pittsburgh has had issues. There's a lot of teams, for whatever reason, have a hard time evaluating offensive linemen. And again, if you can just hit, in the draft or in free agency, and, again, it's a hard thing to evaluate, but certain teams are great at it. Tampa Bay Bucks are great at it. Kansas City is great at it. They need to be able to try to find scouts maybe in those teams to help them out, so that way they can hit, on those draft picks. Because, once Pittsburgh's offensive line gets fixed, same thing with Seattle, the team is going to be drastically better. It's just, can they find those players in the future? And hopefully both of those teams can. (7-0) Baltimore. Yeah, they never had the defense, though, or the offensive line. If they had better offensive line, better defense, but again, when you're playing against, in that era, going against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, that's why. If the Steelers were in the NFC with those guys, they would have made it. But, it just so happens that you ended up going against two of the greatest that have ever wore a goddamn uniform, and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. It's just kind of bad luck for them. They were always the 3rd best team. AB was great. They've always had good wide receivers. Le'Veon Bell was good. Roethlisberger was good. But if you had to take Roethlisberger or Peyton, nobody's taking Big Ben. Or if you're going Big Ben and Tom Brady, no one's taking Big Ben. He could be the 3rd best, but 3rd best going against the top 2 guys that, have put on cleats at that position. Just kind of bad luck being all in the same conference. But if Pittsburgh was in the NFC, yeah, they would have been able to make NFC championship games and probably a Super Bowl with that roster. I mean, even though the NFC had some great teams and players as well, but fuck, man, Peyton and Tom, they stacked up all those Super Bowls and AFC Championship game appearances. It's like, even if you were third best, there's no guarantee that you can even make it to the AFC Championship game. Facts. And they had some pretty good teams back in their day. Henry with the little short gain there. Second down and 9. Shotgun set for Lamar. Looking. Miller is there. Anthony Miller, a rare sighting there for 5 yards. Third down and 4 on the Baltimore 26. Jackson scrambles there for 2 yards. Second down and 8 on the Pittsburgh 47. Oh, Henry. Hold on one sec here. Short left there to Justice Hill, negative 3 yards, third down and 11. They need to get it together. Come on, baby. End of the first quarter, 7-0 Ravens. Yeah, very fast first quarter. Some of the games in college and the NFL have been much faster than anticipated, for sure. Lamar Jackson passed to short right to Justice Hill for 5 to 6 yards. 4th down and 7 on the Pittsburgh 46. Ravens with the punt. Swaggery. Najee Harris up the middle there for 5 yards. 2nd down and 5 to the Pittsburgh 25. No illegal touching on that previous play for the penalty, or the so-called penalty. 7-0 Ravens. We'll see if they implement Justin Fields. I mean, if I was Mike Tomlin, I would, but, seems like some of the guys in, upper management, may be leaning that way, but, for whatever reason, they're loyal to Russ right now. Najee Harris running towards that left guard for 3 yards. 3rd down and 2 on the Pittsburgh 28. Yeah, but both guys are very limited at throwing the football. Russ and Fields can only do so much. And obviously Russ can't run, and he's short, a little bit older. He might be able to beat up on the shitty teams, but if you play against the good teams, he just doesn't stack up or match up anymore. Russell Wilson passed short right to Freiermuth for only a yard. 4th down and 1. Yeah, Pittsburgh needs to open it up. I mean, I don't need them to do a bunch of trick plays, but pretty vanilla on the offense up to this point, besides that one little flea flicker that they tried to run that ended horribly. Come on, Freiermuth. All right, another punt. It's a punt party. All right, Ravens, your turn. All the way down to the 15. Yeah, but I mean, if both guys can't throw, at least one guy can run for first downs. Russ ain't going to be able to run for any first downs. It's not like you have to put him in full time, but, I would be sprinkling him in just to see what he can do. And who knows, if Fields get into a rhythm, he might actually be able to throw better than Russ. He hasn't been good in the last month. They're 0-4. So, I mean, it's not like Russ is throwing for 300-400 yards, but they just keep losing because of the defense. Numbers really aren't that great. All right, Ravens, time for another touchdown, baby. 7-0 Baltimore. Let's go. Bring that electricity, baby. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if the Steeler defense can hold up long enough, but we'll wait and see. At some point they're going to get tired, but I mean, really the only way that I could see Pittsburgh staying kind of close is if the defense scores points. They're going to have to, get turnovers on Lamar and the Ravens, and I don't know how they're going to do that. And I think TJ Watt really hasn't been as dominant as he was in years past, where he would take over the game by himself. You haven't really seen that in a minute, from him, like taking over a game completely. So, and obviously the team is struggling due to that fact too. Henry run up the gut for just 1 yard there. Second down and 9 on the Baltimore 16. Lamar scrambles up the middle there for roughly 6 yards. Wilson with the tackle. Third down and 1 at the Baltimore 24. Just short of the marker. Here in the AFC wildcard game. Congratulations to the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud winning over Justin Herbert and the Chargers 32-12, which nobody saw coming. Shout out to Ohio State and Notre Dame for punching their tickets to the Natty. Got to wait 9 days for that matchup, but it'll be well worth it. And we'll do a live stream for that as well. Direct snap to Mark Andrews up the middle. First down, Ravens. That was a good play call. Move the chains. I mean, hard to win games with Pittsburgh's offense. You got wide receivers that aren't trustworthy. Maybe the best piece is Freiermuth. Pickens obviously has that athleticism, but, he's immature and takes plays off. Like, Freiermuth is a good piece. Najee and Warren at times will play good, but they're both kind of like, RB2s. They're not really RB1s. And obviously, if Najee's the RB1, he doesn't necessarily give you RB1 numbers. I mean, he can't even really crack 1,000. And again, if you're an RB1, playing as many games as we are, 1,000 yards used to be the standard. Now it's like you have to be able to get to like 1,100, 1,200 if you got 17 games, not 16. But, it's like they got some pieces, but again, offensive line, not trustworthy. Russell Wilson, not trustworthy. Pickens, immature. Mike Williams, injury prone. Like, really the only solid piece that you can't say anything bad about is Pat Freiermuth. He's awesome. He would be good on any team. But one piece on the offense, that ain't going to win you the game. One solid piece on the offense ain't going to do it. Now, if Pickens gets opportunities, yeah, he could end up being the guy that puts up points like Freiermuth, but he's so just hit or miss with his emotions and when he tries and when he doesn't try. I would hate to have a player like that. Let's get into the algorithm, baby. I told y'all, like, sub, donate, comment, share. You never know when the algorithm will hit, right? That's why we want to make sure we're getting the likes, going from 20 to 80 to 140. We're at 147. Odds, you know what to do. Let's go. First down, Ravens. I don't kid around when I talk about, hitting those goals, for the dono goals and the like goals. You never know when that might hit. Let's go. 147, baby. Now 185. You never know how high it'll go. 7-0, Ravens. Lamar hands off to Derrick Henry for 3 yards, 2nd down and 7 at the Baltimore 31, or 41, excuse me. One more to double digits. 11 more to 20. Let's get there. Penalty there on Stanley. False start. Come on, my guy. 2nd down and 12 at the Baltimore 36. Come on, Ronnie. $7-0 Ravens. You don't need any self-inflicted wounds. I'm telling y'all, man, I know algorithms, all I do is research and analytics, so you never know when that might show up. 2nd and 13. Lamar dancing in romances, breaking a tackle, decides to take off. Use those legs, baby. Rumbling and a bumbling. First down, Ravens. But there's a flag on the play, and that will probably come back due to a hold. Oh, holding on the defense. They'll take that. Is that on Wilson? Or is that on, who was that on? Porter? That's on Porter. Joey Porter Jr., defensive holding. Can't do that. Automatic first down. Lamar can't believe it. All that effort for nothing. First down and 10, shotgun set. No Zay Flowers today, but so far it's not a problem. Lamar getting pressured to the outside, scrambling, and trying to lean forward and steps out of bounds. Gains about 2 yards down to the Pittsburgh 37. I mean, if Pickens could ever mature, I think that, him and Garrett Wilson are the two guys that could be included in the top 10 wide receiver category week in and week out if those guys could ever get the right quarterback to throw them the ball. And obviously Pickens would have to have the quarterback situation improve, and he would have to mature. I think Garrett Wilson is a pretty mature dude. But again, Aaron Rodgers, doesn't really have that rapport with him. He would rather go to Lazard or Devontae, his former teammate. Little RPO, Lamar. Little shade block there at the end. First down, Ravens. Any flags? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out. Hitting the algorithm, getting the numbers up, getting the subs up, getting the likes up. Let's go. Panthers fan, $2 holla. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Let me know what favorite Panther player you want, and I got you at the commercial break. Handoff up the middle to Derrick Henry for 3 yards, 2nd down and 7 at the Steeler 25. Oh, Henry rumbling and a bumbling, 16 yards down to the Pittsburgh 8, first and goal, and they are knocking on the door. 1,400? Woo! Lamar under center. And this is that halfback toss that they're showing from Henry. Ooh, baby. Just a matter of time before they go up 14-0, it feels like. Lamar, Henry, Andrews. I mean, obviously having Zay would help, but touchdown, Derrick Henry, rumbling and a bumbling. Get out of his way. Touchdown, Ravens. This one's already over. You know, just like it was when the first time that they played. Remember, you know, Pittsburgh and Baltimore are rivals in the same division, but these teams are not in any shape or form equal. One is a contender for the Super Bowl, Baltimore, and one is a pretender in Pittsburgh. Now, you know, if TJ Watt was able to impose his will single-handedly like in years past, then this game would be much lower scoring. You know, you would still have the Ravens win, but it might be like, you know, 17-14, 20-17, 23-20. But at this point, you know, Pittsburgh can't move the football. Offensive line not good. Russell Wilson not good. They don't got anyone that's really trustworthy besides Freiermuth. Defense, obviously, they get tired like anybody else. And, you know, too much Derrick Henry. What can you say? You know, regardless if this was Pittsburgh or anybody else, you're not stopping the king. Extra point is up for Jay Tuck, and it's good. 14-0 Ravens. But you already knew that. You want Keyshawn Johnson? All right, what do you want? You want Tampa Bay Keyshawn Johnson, or you want USC Keyshawn? That's an odd one for a Panther fan. And I was going to make a comment, you know, that you put on the post that you thought that any team could win. Obviously, you haven't been paying attention to Pittsburgh. 4-game losing streak. They have 0% chance to win this game. But I figured that you would come in there and we would talk about it then. Oh, boy, said Keyshawn. You know, it's funny, though, because that was one of my very first jerseys for Tampa way back in the day, too. He definitely, you know, was a shit talker, you know, to say the least, but he did back up a lot of the shit talking. You know, he definitely was a first down machine for us when we needed him. Keenan McCardell was a better, you know, receiver for us overall, but if we didn't have Keyshawn, you know, again, we wouldn't have gotten to where we were, so that's facts. 1,800. Oh, my. But I got a swaggy one, a key. 14-0 Ravens. We got to put King Henry on the screen. Yeah, but also, too, did you know that they were on a 4-game losing streak? And if you would have known that, you would have never wrote that. You know, so, again, you know, it's one thing to be, you know, tapped into your own team, well, like with the Panthers, but then there's some of us here that we tap into every team and every situation that's going on. We're not average here. We're fanatics here, okay? And any team that goes on a 4-game losing streak going into the playoffs, and we're 10-3 and now 10-7, have a 0% chance of winning a game in the playoff. Facts. But again, you're young, you'll learn, and you'll understand that moving forward, that regardless if they're in the same division, these teams are not created equal. Facts. Hell, even if they had Ben Roethlisberger, they still wouldn't even be able to win this game. Facts. All right, Ravens with the punt. A lot of dancing there by Pittsburgh for a minimal gain. All right, Russ, you got to start going to George Pickens. You got to go to Freiermuth. And obviously, you can't abandon the run with Najee and Jalen Warren, which, are probably, the best pieces with Freiermuth that you have. But the guy that can really break the game open for you is George Pickens. But again, they don't get him the ball enough because they don't actually have a quarterback to get him the ball enough in a game in the right situations and in the right ball placement. Because that's the kind of guy that could get a 5-yard screen and take it 80 yards. But again, they don't have enough opportunities that go to him. And when he doesn't get involved early, he loses interest and he doesn't block. He doesn't run hard on his routes. And again, it's just kind of a damn shame, because we know wide receivers are divas, and you can look at it from their point of view. I'm running hard, and you're never giving me any opportunities or looks. And if you're a mature player, you still fight through it, knowing that you're going to get your look at one point or another. But if you're immature, then at some point or another, you just stand around like right there. And again, you get frustrated, you're immature, you point the blame at everyone but yourself. And for a guy that has that kind of top 10 wide receiver talent, that's a damn shame. There's Justin Fields in the game. They got my message. Little play action. Fields. Pressured, incomplete, nothing there. And you got to use Fields with his legs rather than his arm. If you're going to have him out there and throw, it's got to be a safe throw, like a little slant, to maybe a crossing route to Freiermuth, not fucking a throw towards the sideline when the blitz is coming. Come on, man. Second down and 10 in the second quarter. 14-0 Ravens. Shotgun set. Russ in there, handoff. What's that going to do? Nothing. Minimal gain there. Third down and long. Third down and 8 on the Pittsburgh 44. Yeah. Well, what offense? They don't got one. I mean, again, it's like you have names, but that doesn't equate to anything. And their offensive line stinks, and it shows you Seattle's offensive line was second to last. They were ranked 31 out of 32, but even Geno could move the ball better than Russ, or Justin Fields. They got Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, right? You got to see JSN step up at DK, even though Lockett's kind of getting older. So even with Seattle's, offensive line being worse, than Pittsburgh's, at least they were able to move the ball, but they just didn't want to give them credit. It's always pointing the blame at the OC who got fired, or they need someone better than Geno. All you got to do is just be able to build the O-line. You build the O-line, you get better quarterbacks, and things will happen for obviously Pittsburgh. And Geno actually had a pretty good year considering they had the second worst fucking offensive line in the league. There's a lot of quarterbacks that would have done much worse than Geno, but again, it's all about, do you actually understand football and understand that the offensive line is important, or do you want to point the blame at the coordinators, the head coach, and the quarterbacks? And it definitely shows you who knows football and who doesn't. Casuals will just point the blame at coordinators or the quarterback, but it's much more than that. Pickens with the catch. First down, Steelers. But we got a flag on the play. Nice splash play there from Russ to Pickens, but will it hold? Probably not. Probably offensive pass interference, I would assume. Or maybe it's got to be offensive pass interference. Yep. And there you go. You finally end up having an explosion play first time in the first half, and it gets called back. I mean, he's got good speed. He's a good route runner. He's got good hands, and he's got great awareness. Like, look where the ball placement is with him and Humphrey right there. I mean, he definitely pushes off, to be able to get the football, but it's in a tight lane. Again, he is very skilled, like Garrett Wilson. They just need better quarterbacks to get him the fucking ball. And obviously, I would lean more towards Garrett than George, just because of the maturity factor. But you never know. Maybe one day, he will mature and they'll have a better quarterback situation and he'll turn into a top 5, top 10 wide receiver in this league, maybe. Third down and long. Russ, little safe check down. That ain't going to get you a first down. Fourth down. And we're going to have to get another punt. Yeah, but they've lost 4 straight. If you already are going into the game knowing that you're going to lose, you have to believe that you're going to win. But nobody on Pittsburgh, including their fan base, believes they can win this game. Again, when you're in December and January, you want to be 4-0 or 3-1 and going in playing your best ball in December and January. There's never been a scenario where a team has been 10-3, loses 4 games straight, and then all of a sudden makes it to the Super Bowl and wins it. Hell no, they can't even win a goddamn game. So, we'll see what happens, but the way that their offense is playing right now, they might not even be able to get a touchdown this game, which is kind of a crazy thing to think because McDonald is no longer there. The defense isn't as good as it used to be, but again, adding Derrick Henry, and we know how good the offense is there for the Ravens, but again, it would have been much better to have Cincinnati in the playoffs over Pittsburgh. If we had to, pick and choose, because in all the teams, and I know the Chargers got their ass kicked by 20 today, right? The Chargers are better, than the Steelers. And again, the Steelers are the worst team in the playoffs. They don't deserve it. Again, Cincinnati, even with their record, would have been a much better team to have in here for not only my enjoyment, for everyone else's. Because Cincinnati, with that offense, they could upset Baltimore. They can go toe-to-toe offense back and forth. They could upset the Buffalo Bills, and they could upset Kansas City. You can't say that at any team that's in the playoffs right now or not in the playoffs. So we kind of definitely missed out, on the Cincinnati Bengal experience this year. Obviously, if you had those guys in fantasy, you ended up winning the championship as well. But, I want to see a good, physical, close game, but you ain't going to get it in this one. You're probably going to end up getting a 20-point blowout, just like you saw with the Texans and the Chargers earlier today. Like, this one kind of feels like it's going to be pretty fucking ugly. 31 to... I don't even want to say 17 because the way that the Steelers are playing, I don't even know if they can even get to 17 at this point. At this point, you're looking at 10 points or less. That's pretty sad if we're talking about playoffs, especially wild card, AFC. Oh yeah, Broncos are better. Broncos have a shot, to keep it somewhat interesting, but going into Buffalo isn't ideal. But the defense is very good. So if they play a great game, it could be closer than people think. I don't think necessarily Denver is going to beat Buffalo, but I think that they'll put up more of a fight than what we're seeing out of Pittsburgh, 100%. Bo Nix is a million times better than Russell Wilson and Justin Fields combined. Facts. And obviously they have limitations at running back and wide receiver besides Cortland Sutton and Mims, but even with that being said, Bo can move the football better than what you're getting here out of Pittsburgh. It's like we want to see some good competitive matchups, but... this is again, if TJ Watt was able to take over a game by himself like he was able to do a couple years ago, but he's no longer able to do that anymore. For whatever reason, he's not the same player as he was a couple years ago, where he single-handedly could just stop, whoever they were playing. Even if Minka was hurt or Cameron Hayward wasn't 100%, TJ could take over the game, but not anymore. I call it how I see it, right down the middle, no bias. First down and 10, shotgun set, Lamar. Hands off to Derrick Henry, bouncing it to the outside, getting tripped up, gain of 3 yards. Second down and 7 at the Baltimore 13. Pretty fast first half. About a minute to go here. We'll see if the Ravens can put on the pressure and make it 17-0 or 21-0. Obviously, Justin Tucker really hasn't been the same kicker as we're used to, but in this particular matchup, he should be able to find, some points before this game is over other than extra points. Short game by Derrick Henry, and we have a timeout. Third down and 3 at the Baltimore 17. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired here in 2025, as well as the end of 2024. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Ooh, 911 Lone Star. I gotta get on that. January 20th. We're gonna be getting a lot of shows coming back here within the next couple weeks. Law and Order SVU, Severance Season 2 on Apple TV Plus. If you're looking for sci-fi, it is amazing. And if you're a fan of Adam Scott, to see him in, like different comedies and whatnot, and then to see him play like a serious role, highly recommend if you guys like sci-fi to watch Severance on Apple TV Plus. Again, Season 2 is about to come out, but it is mind-blowing. It's a very, very good show. A little twisted as well. Shotgun set. On third down, tries to throw it in between the cracks there. First down, Ravens. Rashad Bateman doing his best Zay Flowers impression. Move the chains. There you go. Lamar on first down and 10. Scrambling, looking downfield. Steelers lost, playing some kind of soft zone. First down, Baltimore. Move the chains. I mean, if the Pittsburgh Steelers keep playing like this, shit offense, shit defense, I mean, it already feels like this one is already over. But again, if they end up getting another field goal or touchdown, very plausible. 14-0 could be 21-0 in a matter of a couple plays. We got 43 seconds left before halftime, but that's plenty of time. That's an eternity for Lamar Action Jackson. The Severance, the premise of the show is that you have Adam Scott and these people that work in some kind of like this like computer type of like tech company, but they end up having a procedure where, they are separated from their work life as their home life. So when they end up going to work, they don't understand, what's going on. It's like almost like a switch is being flipped in their brain, on when they're at work and when they're not. It's one of those things you just have to watch for yourself. A little twisted, but it's very, very entertaining. Facts. First down and 10, shotgun set, Lamar. Little check down towards the sideline, complete. Clock is still running, and you have the Steeler player hugging him to lead the clock. Hey, nothing like a team trying to cheat when they're down 14-0, right? And then Baltimore with the timeout to gain a little bit more time for Jay Tuck. Eight more likes to 20. Let's get there. Unless we get this explosion of bots or people to come through. And again, it makes you kind of wonder, also, whenever you get a high number of likes or a high number of people in the stream, and you assume that everything is legit when you start seeing, these bigger streamers, but if this situation is happening to me, which may be happening to some of those other streamers, like how many of the actual people are legit? How many are bots? How many are real? How many are not? It's like, you can get likes and you can get people in the room, but it always makes you wonder, when you hit an algorithm, what are we actually getting? So, some of those numbers for the bigger streamers might be flawed and skewed a little bit, just based on how big they are and people assuming that that's legit when it may not be. Mark Andrews rumbling and bumbling down the sideline. First down, Ravens. Lamar Jackson, short middle to Isaiah Likely. 19 yards, first and goal with 12 seconds left on the Pittsburgh 5. We're about to have 21-0, baby. But again, it's like, regardless if we have bots or, whatever the hell this is, hopefully we can get the likes to match the people in the room. If we're going to have 1,200 people, let's have 1,200 likes. Anything that helped out the algorithm in the future, and then maybe that'll lead more actual people, that are human and alive to interact and help us out, But I'm not going to complain, if we end up having a crazy number in the room or a crazy number on the likes. It's just that you would want whatever those are, to be able to be, not bots or, people that you can, vibe with and whatnot. But, we got to take what we can get, whatever happens. Real numbers, fake numbers, trolls, bots, whatever the fuck, right? At the end of the day, we just want to be able to grow the channel. Like, subs, views, donos, all of the above. Second and goal. And there's a timeout there. It's not like the Steelers get reset. Like that's going to make a difference. They're going to get in the end zone more than likely. And if not, then, they can get a nice little field goal with Jay Tuck there to make it 17-0. But, they best believe they definitely want to be able to make it 21-0. I mean, even though it's only 14 and it's a little premature to say, hey, the game is over, but there hasn't been anything on the Pittsburgh side to make you think that this will even be a close game, let alone them winning it. Again, this is the worst team in the playoffs out of all the teams. I get it. The Chargers put up 12, but they would have been able to put up more than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now that are at a 0. I mean, right now they're pacing for a 0 in the game. Yes, I can't wait. I get iced teas, stuff on my threads, on my social media feeds and whatnot. So whenever he posts something about them filming, I'm always updated. Lamar, flushed out of the pocket, runs back in it. Touchdown, Ravens. Lamar, Action Jackson, Justice Hill. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, about to be 21-0. This Pittsburgh Steelers team is a joke. I mean, the game was already over at 14. But again, if you actually watch football other than your own favorite team, I could have told you this was going to happen before the game even started. There's never been a team that's been 0-4 going into December and January that has been able to put up a good performance and a wild card afterwards. There's a reason why they went 0-4. They're not a good team. They were 10-3. Now they're 10-7. It would have been much better to have even an 8-9 Bengal team or a 9-8 Bengal team than what we're seeing here out of Pittsburgh. This is a very flawed Pittsburgh Steelers team. Embarrassing. And I imagine my neighbor that has the flag in front of his house, I imagine he's probably taken it down and thrown it on the ground and stomped on it a couple times. Unbelievable. Extra point is up and good. should have had the Cincinnati Bengals. It would have been more entertaining. Maybe they don't win, but it would definitely be back and forth. So, again, sometimes it's about who's playing the best football right now, not based off your record, right? Just like if Bama, if they ended up making the college football playoff, or not Bama, Michigan, maybe they would have been able to upset somebody. Like if you would have had Michigan go against Indiana, maybe Michigan wins, in that first round matchup, or if Michigan went against Tennessee, maybe they win. They ended up beating Ohio State and they beat Bama in the Iron Bowl in the bowl game. So, the Bengals, same thing. It's like the record wasn't good, but when you're on like a 5-game winning streak, the complete opposite of what Pittsburgh is doing on a 4-game losing streak. And, some teams are pretenders and some teams are contenders. And I mean, at this point, does Pittsburgh even score? I'm not even joking. Like, it's like, can they even get into the red zone and get a field goal? We know they have one of the best kickers in Boswell, but this is a damn shame. 21-0 Ravens. No, the Steelers cannot come back. I mean, hell, if they even gave them an incentive, if they got to 10, they win the game. I don't even know if they could do that. But again, we follow teams here very, very closely, not just our favorite teams, but every team. And, the writing was on the wall. And even if the game was in Pittsburgh like it was a couple weeks ago, it would give them more motivation to score in front of their fans, right? But, you still would be down at half, 21-7 or 21-10, even if you were at home. You're not winning the game, which we had a couple weeks ago when it was in Pittsburgh. All right, bots, smash that like button. Let's match the people in the room to the likes. At some point, hopefully it'll carry over. That's what happened last time, too. I think last time the likes happened first, when we had like 1,200, and then eventually, the bots and everything else came in a little bit after. This time around, we got the people in the room, but the likes haven't matched it yet, but I would assume at some point it'll match up at some point, so. Pittsburgh on the first half for the first time in a postseason game. Not a good look, Mike Tomlin. But again, garbage offensive line, garbage quarterbacks. You got wide receivers that aren't good enough or immature. You got one good piece on the offense, Pat Freiermuth. That's a problem. Well, I was hoping for a little bit more excitement, but, it is what it is. I knew that Baltimore was going to win, but I don't know if anyone anticipated this. Right. I mean, I just think at this point, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, just hang it up. You know what I mean? Like, Rodgers has got more game than Russell Wilson, but both of them just hang it up. And obviously they're just trying to collect a paycheck and, be able to have money, for retirement and whatever ventures they get into afterwards. Russell with his kids and Sierra, and then Rodgers with all his Hollywood friends. And Rodgers, still, I think a lot of us wouldn't want either one, as our starting quarterbacks at this point, but, who knows, these guys are stubborn and unless there's not a team that's willing to call, they're going to be, scraggling along and, wasting whatever team's payroll, but, I'm not a big Rodgers guy, but Rodgers is better than Russ. And, I don't know if that's really saying anything. They're both not very good, but Rodgers can still fling it. Russ cannot. Gain some subs. Shout out to the new subs. 92 to go to 20,800. Let's go, baby. And we'll be doing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Washington Commanders tomorrow. And then on Monday, we're going to do a dual stream where we are going to do the Vikings and Rams, but we'll also be watching Monday Night Raw on Netflix week number 2. So I'll have that in the background, and if anything crazy happens, I'll end up calling the action on Raw at the same time as the NFL playoff game, but the stream will be Vikings-Rams. But definitely looking forward to working on the double dip on Monday. And then obviously tomorrow we got the Broncos visiting the Bills at 10 a.m., right? Then you got the Packers and Eagles around 1:30, and then we'll be doing the Commanders and the Buccaneers at 5 o'clock Pacific. And the Commandos and Bucks will be a lot better than what you're seeing here with the Ravens and Steelers, 100%. Actually, every game tomorrow will be better than this. Every game, even on Monday, every game will be better than this. But again, Pittsburgh didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, and they're showing the globe right now how terrible they really are. Embarrassing. It's like it would almost be better not to be in the playoffs and to get the draft pick than to come in, obviously as a wild card team, 10-3, lost 4 in a row, 10-7. Terrible, man. Like, I would have rather had the draft pick than get embarrassed like this, let alone against my fucking rival, Baltimore. Disgusting. But at least we can get entertained by this, right? So, yeah, Pittsburgh stinks, but at least we can watch this, and this is always a draw. This is always must-see TV, right? And hopefully one day he ends up winning a Super Bowl like Josh Allen. The Chiefs have held down that spot like Tom Brady in the past, but they can sprinkle around a little bit of love for Lamar. If he wins the Super Bowl, he's going to switch to the number 1, and then he wants to win a Super Bowl in that number. But again, I know the Chiefs have been great, but I would love to see Burrow win one before he retired. I would love to see Lamar win one. I would love to see Josh Allen win one. And I know it's probably never going to happen, but I would love to see Justin Herbert one day, regardless if he's on the Chargers or on another team. I would love to at least see him compete in one. He might not be able to win one, but obviously with the performance they had today, against the Texans, but, a guy can dream, But I would love to be able to see some of these other elite quarterbacks, have a chance. And, we'll see if that ends up being this year or not. But again, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Eagles, Lions. That's it. The Super Bowl is going to be one of those 5 teams. That's it. I don't see any other team, in that mix. But again, you never know. There could be a sleeper team, that comes out of nowhere that gets hot at the right time that upsets, one of our contenders. Like, what happens if Green Bay, as a 7th seed, beats Philadelphia? That will throw everything in the mix. Obviously, that'll benefit Detroit the most, but then the NFC would be a little open, for some of those other teams that survived the first round and to see what they can do. So, you never know. But I know one thing. There's only one King Henry, baby. I mean, this is even uglier than Oregon getting stomped in the first half, by Ohio State. Like, at least you knew that Oregon was going to be able to score points eventually and move the ball. Like, there is no indication that Russell or Fields or Najee or Jalen Warren or Freiermuth or Pickens, and then the one big play that Pickens had, he pushed off. It's like, ooh, Pickens. Oh, it's coming back. Offensive pass. And it shows you, it's like, if you don't got an offensive line, all of your pieces mean nothing. They literally mean nothing, and again, it's just kind of sad because, they have some guys out there that can play, but they're just not in the same league as the Baltimore Ravens. They will be. They will be. The Broncos are going to fight like hell. I don't think that they'll beat Buffalo, but, again, if their defense comes to show up, and they do have a good defense, the Denver Broncos, better at home than on the road, but they do have a D. You never know with Nick Bonito and company what could maybe happen. It would be unlikely, but, I've seen crazier things happen. What if Denver beats Buffalo? What happens if the Packers beat the Eagles? It's not like, a for sure thing, but again, it's just one game. It's not best of 7. Again, if the Buffalo Bills have a bad half like Oregon, they could lose to Denver, right? If the Philadelphia Eagles, have an injury, or if Jalen fucks up, right, in the first half, and the Packers are hot with Jordan Love on the road, they could beat Philadelphia. It's not like an impossible scenario. The Commandos could beat the Bucs on the road. It's very plausible, right? So we'll kind of wait and see. And obviously the Rams and the Vikings, it feels like that's a trap game. Like, I think a lot of us are thinking the Rams are going to win that game, or they have a very good chance to win it, For a team being not on the same record as Minnesota, Minnesota might be the most overrated, team in the playoffs. Obviously with that 14-win number. I mean, we think that they're a good team, but just like Hybrid said before, either they win by a lot, or they get their ass kicked. There's not really an in-between with Minnesota. So, and they got an amazing record, but for a team that's 14-3, I don't trust them. And that's a weird thing to say for a team that's 14-3. I don't trust them. But again, when you're going against Stafford and Kyron and Puka and Cooper Kupp, we'll see what defense, comes to play. I do like Andrew Van Ginkel and company and a few others, but, if there was one trap game out of them all, based on tomorrow's games and Monday, I think it's that Rams-Vikings game. That's the biggest trap game of them all. So. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Bots, you can do it too. Let's go, baby. Catch up. We got the people in the room. We need the likes on the other hand as well. Let's go. I disagree. I don't think the Chiefs are overrated. Because you're kind of contradicting yourself. You say Chiefs are overrated. You're not hating on them, but you are. Again, a lot of people are sick of them unless you are a Chief fan, right? For whatever reason. Taylor Swift, them not winning in blowout fashion, getting sick of seeing the same team over and over and over. Right, the Chiefs had to deal with the Patriots and everyone else, right, for years and years and years, and now the Chiefs are the New England Patriots. So, and remember, the Bills don't have a defense. So to say the Bills are contenders and the Chiefs are not, that's a false statement. The Chiefs are good enough to three-peat, whether you like it or not. Again, they're number one on a few categories on defense. They're the best third down team in football. They're not winning, in blowout fashion. Again, they're winning ugly, but at the end of the day, they're winning, and again, sometimes it's jealousy. Sometimes just sick of tired of seeing the same team over and over and over. But again, as long as they have Andy Reid, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Spags, and Chris Jones. Who? Chris Jones. Who? Chris Jones. You can't keep them out of the conversation. The Chiefs have a defense. The Bills don't. The Ravens have an offense, but they don't got a defense either, compared to what the Chiefs have. So, and then if you look at the Lions, they don't got a defense. The Eagles do. So, again, the teams that are the most well-rounded right now are Philadelphia and Kansas City. Offense and defense. And you definitely can beat up a team like Pittsburgh, even though we know they have a defense, but TJ Watt isn't the same player to single-handedly take over the game. But when you end up having a team that's really good on one side of the ball and not as good on the other side, you can get away with it when you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. But what happens when the Ravens play the Chiefs? What happens when the Ravens play the Bills? Then we'll see, who really the big dog is at that point. Same thing with the Eagles. We'll find out, if they play Detroit, who the big dog really is. Is Detroit going to outscore, all their opponents and win the whole thing? Or are they going to end up finding a defense that can slow them down and stop them? We'll have to wait and find out. But to me, there's 5 Super Bowl contenders: Lions, Eagles, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. Nobody else. And people can agree, people can disagree. But that's what I feel. I don't think there's any other team that I didn't mention. Everyone else is a pretender, and the ones that I mentioned are contenders. But it's kind of a weird thing for me to say because, 3 out of the 5 don't have a defense or just average defense. I don't want to say they don't have one at all because they obviously have some pieces out there. Detroit, right, with their secondary. The Ravens, they got a few, Buffalo, they got a couple, but again, if they end up playing Kansas City or Philadelphia, teams that are very good on both sides of the ball, don't be surprised if we end up getting a rematch of the Eagles and Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Just saying. Now, I know a lot of us are hoping for something new, something different, but again, it would be a little bit easier to believe if the Bills had a defense, the Ravens had a defense, the Lions had a defense. Then we could believe a little bit, more. But remember, defense wins games. Defense wins championships. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch that Ohio State game from last night. It's a part of not being biased. That's what we try to teach here, Again, it's sometimes, we have bias towards our favorite players and teams, and, there's certain things that we want, but the bottom line is the facts are the facts. The elite teams are elite for a fucking reason. And again, we got sick and tired of seeing fucking Tom and Belichick and Gronk every fucking year, but you're getting the same thing with Kansas City now. So, again, if you're good enough, long enough, you eventually turn into the villain. You go from, being a Skywalker to Darth Vader, and that's just where we're at, and at some point, the Chiefs will get knocked off, but will it be this year? We'll have to wait and see. 2nd down and 7. Henry, rumbling the bumbling, 8 yards, 1st down, Ravens. But again, there's only 2 teams out of 5 contenders that have a D, Chiefs and Eagles. So obviously I'm going to be leaning towards those teams first. And I'm wishful, for the Ravens and the Lions and the Bills. Those are fun fucking teams to watch. Like, regardless if you like those teams or not, they're fun. Lamar is fun. Josh Allen is fun. What Jared Goff and what Dan Campbell are doing is fun. But besides them being fun, can they stop a team like Kansas City and Philadelphia? That's the real question, and we don't know. Especially if you have to go through them in their house. If you have to go to Philly, you have to go to Arrowhead. That's not an easy place to win. Going into the cold in those 2 locations in Philadelphia and Kansas City. Hayward with his helmet off, like he would make a difference. Second down and 7, Justice Hill. Run for 5 yards, pushed out of bounds. 3rd down and 2, nice little cutback, but got wrapped around the waist. Wasn't able to get enough momentum to hit the marker. 3rd down and 2 at the Baltimore 49. Oh, yeah. Lions Chiefs Super Bowl. Absolutely. Just like you could see the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. Obviously, that would be, a very easy thing to picture in your head. Especially with Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and all the weapons they have. But not having David Montgomery, and all those injuries on the defense, at some point it may come back to bite them, whether that's against Philadelphia, another team, or possibly in the Super Bowl. Good stop there by Pittsburgh. Wow. They actually decided to play some defense there. Henry for no gain. Roberts with the tackle. 4th down and 2. I mean, hell, you could have Troy Polamalu, Ben Roethlisberger. You could have all the legends on Pittsburgh, and you're still not coming back in the second half. The real question is can Pittsburgh actually get to 10? That might be like the magic number, which is kind of a sad thing to say, but based on how they've been playing so far, there's no indication that they can even score, let alone get into the red zone. It's not like they've had field goal attempts and they've missed 2 by Boswell. Like, they haven't even been able to get into the fucking red zone. What's wrong with Eminem? There's nothing wrong with Eminem, my guy. One of the best rappers of all time. Eminem is good for Detroit because he's actually genuine. Any guy that, had a problem with addiction and then has been sober and clean, just imagine the things that Eminem would have been partying with and who he was partying with, and to be able to party on the most extreme level. Eminem probably should be dead, and so for him to be alive and to be sober for this amount of years, you might have a perception of Eminem, but I'm a big fan. Plus, the Lions have been the lovable losers forever. Again, their fan base deserves some happiness, And they got a great roster. They got a great offensive line. They got a great head coach. The players, react appropriately to Dan Campbell. They've had a shitload of injuries. It hasn't really, bit them yet. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, how many 50-year-old white guys could battle rap any brother, regardless of age or white guy for that matter, and still win? Again, like, Eminem is a one of one. You're probably never going to see another, let alone Caucasian white rapper, but you're never going to see another rapper like him ever again. Again, the circumstances that he had growing up, and his drive and energy, to show people that he can do something that is dominated by the brothers, and he can do it just as good as them, and sometimes even better than them. Which obviously makes some of the brother rappers haters towards him, that he's better than them, as a white guy, but I think that's what makes it special, like, rap isn't just for the brothers. Like, rap can be any race. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Mexican. I mean, there's hip hop in any type of race. It's just a matter of what you like to listen to. Facts. 21-0 Ravens. All right, Steelers, can you do anything? I hope so. Yeah, I would rather, as crazy as this for me to say, I don't want pop or rap either. I would rather, and this is crazy for me to say this, but I would rather have rock or even country than pop or rap. I don't think pop and rap are they're not good at the Super Bowl. That's just not a good fit. Like, when they ended up having, Eminem and, Dre, and, you ended up having Mary J. Blige, that was kind of a thing. But again, it's like, how often are you going to get 5 goats all on the stage together? But I think that doing rock, or even like a country, would be better than doing pop and rap. Pop and rap, it doesn't mix with football. It's more like country and rock is more, fitting, in my opinion, Like, have like Shabuzi. You could have Shabuzi and you could have, some rock people. That would be a good show. We already saw what Shabuzi could do at a halftime show for Thanksgiving. He killed it. I'm not even a fan of his, and I thought that he did a fucking awesome job. Like, I don't listen to his music. I know that little bar song is super popular and whatnot, but, I feel that, he would put on a great show again, as he did on Thanksgiving. So, just my personal opinion. I might not be a big country listener, but I think Shabuzi, obviously would be worthy, of a spot, that he would do a good job, and people wouldn't turn off their TVs if he was performing, But I would definitely want rock if I had my choice. $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. $5. I mean, that's 50-50. You tell me. Where's the game being played? Buffalo or Baltimore? That might be the answer. Whoever's got home field might win that game. First down, Steelers. Oh, man, Austin with the catch. The first big play on offense for Pittsburgh comes in with 10:35 left in the third quarter. Oh, my. But I think in a game like that with Ravens and Bills, if that's what we get, it may come down to who has home field. But even the road team could win because those teams match up very, very well with each other. You know, you got Josh Allen, you got James Cook, you got Lamar, you got King Henry. You know, you could definitely go either way. It would be definitely a game that would go who has the ball last would win the game. Russ on 1st and 10, little check down on a screen pass. Good tackle there by the Ravens. It would be in Buffalo. And they're both cold weather teams, so going up to Buffalo wouldn't phase Lamar. You know, again, you know, maybe it would even make them more focused than being at home. But I don't think you could really say one team or another. I think that you would have to say 50-50 because you have to give respect to both teams. Now, if you're a Bills fan, you know, or a Josh Allen fan, then you're going Buffalo. If you like Lamar, then you're going to say Lamar. But if you're just actually being honest with yourself, you can't really say with confidence, yes, the Ravens would definitely win against Buffalo. You couldn't say that. Or yes, Josh Allen's going to dominate Lamar. You couldn't say that with a straight face because you just don't really know what would happen in that game. But you know it would be must-see TV, and it would probably even be better than the Super Bowl. You know, that matchup is exciting. That's like the matchup that you want, right? Buffalo going against Baltimore. Third down. Russell Wilson, Mike Williams, 37 yards. First down, Steelers. And they get behind the secondary, and now Russell Wilson, he is starting to cook. Someone call Subway. Get him in sponsorship back. He's turning into Mr. Unlimited. Not really, but at least he's doing something to make this game interesting. Little pick play right there, a real rub route. Baltimore got stuck behind. Good catch there by Mike Williams. You're injury prone, but he does have the ability to make big plays once in a while, just like that. Yeah, but again, if it ends up being two evenly matched teams, it may come down to who's at home, and that might be like the deciding factor, you know. But again, Lamar is good enough, and Baltimore is battle-tested enough where if they had to go into Buffalo, they could win it. It wouldn't be like they would get their ass kicked. It would be like whoever wins that game could come down to winning by a couple, like, you know, 3-4 points, maybe as much as 7, but that's it. Like, I don't see that game, Buffalo and Baltimore, being 10 points or more. The teams are too evenly matched. I mean, it might come down to kicking a field goal at the end to win the game, something like that. That's must-see TV, baby. Second down and 10. Russ. It's hard for him to get back-to-back first downs, if you've noticed. For every one good play Russ has, because his offensive line is terrible, you know, it's very rare for him to get back-to-back first downs and to move the chains. It's like, you know, you get one first down, one big play, then a couple bad throws, sack lunch, run up the gut for 3 yards, you know, whatever, bad throw, you know, into the turf or into the dirt, like, you know, and they need Russ to have back-to-back multiple move the chains type of plays, but, you know, you got to give credit there. Russell Wilson, Van Jefferson, touchdown, Steelers. Oh, my. Okay. I mean, they still lost the game, but at least Russ is able to cook here. Wow. How do you let him get behind you like that? Van Jefferson, the former Ram. Russ says, I am unlimited, bitch. Okay. Extra point is up by Boswell, and it's good. 21-7. Now, this would have been nice to have in the end of the first half, and then they get this, and then it's 21-14, and then you're like, ooh, right? But, hey, better late than never. You know, you're still the worst team in the playoffs, but that was a good throw by Russ. We can give him credit where credit needs to be given. Good route by Van Jefferson. And, again, secondary got burned. And what can you say? If you get behind the secondary, you know, with Mike Williams and Van Jefferson and Austin, hey, nice play calling there. Offensive line did enough to give Russ enough time. And I guess let Russ cook for at least that drive. 21-7 Ravens. And at least the game is closer now. So I didn't think I was going to have any Steeler photos to put up today, but there you go. Thank God. I mean, if we already know a game is relatively over by the first quarter, can I just get some effort by the team that's getting their ass kicked to at least show something? There you go. This might be like the only time we throw his photo up, but hey, you might not be a top 3 quarterback anymore, but that was a good drive. Good job, Russ. And we got to throw up the Van Jefferson as well. We'll throw up a Tomlin. He's like, stop embarrassing me. But at least they got on the board now. That's a lot better than being at a 0. It took them forever, but hey, better late than never. 21-7 Steelers. Now, if they can get a 3 and out or an interception or a stop and get it to 21-14, they're still going to lose, but then we're really invested in the game the rest of the way. So we'll see if the defense can step up with TJ Watt. All right, Lamar, your turn, baby. Let's go. You know what to do, King. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Bots, you can do your part too. We got the people in the room, but we need the likes to match that. 7 more to 20. But you never know when it might just flip over. That's what happened last time. First, the likes came in first, and then the people came in after. So we'll see. But the funny thing is that with the uptick, in the views, we haven't got the bots in the room. So last time, we had the uptick in the likes. We got the 1,200 likes first, and then the people came in after. And then the bots were just fucking over and over and over, like 50 of them. But we haven't even had one today. Makes you kind of wonder, what's going on here? Like someone's fans from another channel are like, what's going on in here? That's why YouTube is kind of mysterious. You never really know, is it real? Is it fake? Is it a bot? Where is this coming from? Did someone buy these? Like, is it from someone else's channel? Nothing ever makes sense, ever. You just have to roll with the punches. 2nd down and 20. Lamar, Wallace. Good effort there. Shitty tackling by the Steelers. 1st down, Ravens. Move the chains. (21-7) Ravens. First down and 10. Sims. Move the chains. First down, Ravens. Touchdown, Ravens! Derrick Henry! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Oh, shit! All hail the king, bitches! All hail the king! Oh, my. Derrick Henry. Oh, my. See ya, wouldn't want to be the 10, the 5, touchdown, Ravens! Ravens flock, stand up! Oh, my. Oh, my God. What a fantastic player, man. You know, everything that we saw in college, you know, actually transferred over to the NFL. You know, we haven't seen a back like this since, like, you know, the 70s or the 80s. You know, a guy that's built like a Dickerson or like a Walter Payton, someone that's, you know, really beefy on the upper body. But not only is he big, but he's fast. And once he ends up, you know, getting to that second level past the linebackers, good night. Extra point is up by Tuck, and it's good. 28-7 Ravens. Get the fuck out of here. Storm Bum in the building. What's good? You ready for baseball? A couple months away. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Help your boy out. I mean, Baltimore and Buffalo, James Cook with a 70-yard touchdown, King Henry with a 70-yard touchdown. Like, it's going to just be fucking madness. I can't wait to see what we get. But again, Baltimore is much better at home than they are on the road. But, you know, again, you just don't know what you're going to get in that next matchup. But it'll be must-see TV. And it might end up being the best game in the playoffs overall. Like, what's going to be better than Baltimore-Buffalo? Kansas City is like, you know, they got the offense and the defense, but they can't put up the points like Baltimore or Buffalo. So, you know, it's kind of a dream matchup in the AFC. And then obviously the best matchup that you could see in the NFC would be Eagles-Lions, right? And we might have a chance to see that. But Philadelphia's got to get past Green Bay tomorrow. Yeah, well, if the bots do their job, Captain, then you won't even have to worry about anything, you know, moving forward, because it'll take care of itself. But we'll just see if it ends up changing or not. Yeah, I do remember week 4, Ravens won 35-10, but they were at home. So it's a little different story if you're going to be at Buffalo. But I do remember. I do remember, baby. Just like all the, you know, quote-unquote experts thinking that the Commandos are going to beat the shit out of the Buccaneers. Like, no one is giving us a chance and we're at home. Did they forget that we beat them week 1, 37-20? Like, okay. I mean, I get it. Jaden Daniels is exciting, and they've had a great year. But what about Baker Mayfield? Like, you know, he's proven that he is a top 5 guy, and we have a top 5 offense. Bucky Irving's been great. Mike Evans. We don't got Chris Godwin, but Jalen McMillan has stepped up. You know, we got good offensive line with Tristan Wirfs and Graham Barton, right? We got Vita Vea. We got Levante David. Hopefully Antoine Winfield Jr. is healthy. We got a couple guys banged up. But it's like, you know, for every quote-unquote expert on TV to pick the Commanders, and like almost nobody is thinking that we can win. Okay, we'll see. That might be true, but we're definitely going to go out swinging if we lose. But I'm hoping that we can find a way to win that game, and I'm confident that we can win that game. You know, if we lose, I'll accept the loss, no excuses. You know, but again, it's just crazy to think that no one thinks the Bucs can win at home with Baker Mayfield's top 5 offense this year. Give me a break. We definitely have a chance. Yeah, Baker's story is great. You know, it's like a journeyman that actually panned out, you know, going from the Browns and, you know, it didn't work there, right? Then went to the Panthers, then the Rams, got his little opportunity. Then the Bucs gave him a 1-year deal, like a prove-it deal. And then now, you know, Baker is one of the top 5, top 10 quarterbacks in the league. And it doesn't look like that's going to go away. It's not like a one-trick pony. You know, it definitely helps, you know, when you have guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but we haven't had Godwin for a long time, and Jalen McMillan is fucking awesome. Bucky Irving is awesome. So it shows you if we didn't get Huskies and Ducks on the team, the Bucs wouldn't be where we're at right now. Chief with Chief in the building. What's good, Chief? What's good, my Chief? Chief, Will, Chief. What's good, my guy? 28-7 Ravens. Chief with a 5-er. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, my guy. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Thank you so much, my guy. I'll get you some food photos at the end of the stream. Once the game is over, I still got to take a long walk with Paisley Pup and eat some dinner. But we'll do, we kind of been doing food at the end of the streams most of the time, and I feel that will be a good way. If you have anything else that you want to be able to see other than food at the end, let me know. Stormbum with a 5-er. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Let me know what favorite Astro player you want, and I got you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. You know, who's to say that a Mariner fan and an Astro fan can't get along together? Now, there's going to be a lot of our fan base that will definitely argue and not like each other, you know, but it's also nice to be able to, like, you know, have people that enjoy baseball together and that can still support each other, you know, even though we are rivals, Mariners and Astros. Thank you, man. I appreciate you very much. You let me know what past or present player, if you want to go with the triple Bs, you know, want to go with Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman, you want to go old school, you know, if you want to go, you know, something, you know, with Tucker or Altuve, you know, I got you. You just let me know, and I got you guys. You know, plus, like I said, I feel that, you know, the amount of reading and film study that I do, I can get along and I can vibe with anybody from any fan base, you know, because like I said, I treat every team as if they were my own. And, you know, it's a nice conversation piece when you actually understand and know what's going on with someone else's favorite team and favorite players. You know, not only it builds credibility and my intelligence, you know, but obviously we can bring those people together and we can start appreciating greatness, even if it's not on our team. Like I love me some Kyle Tucker, you know, a fantastic player. I like a lot of the guys, you know, that Houston has had in the last few years. Now, obviously, a lot of Mariner fans, including myself, I'm not really a big Altuve guy. If there's one guy I kind of dislike, it's him, you know, and I can be honest about that. But other than that, you know, I don't really have too many problems with, you know, the roster and whatnot. But, you know, the games are always competitive when we play each other. And that's what it's about, right? Having those, you know, rivalries that sometimes get heated, but that ends up being, you know, usually must-see TV. So let me know what you want to see for a photo. Let me know what you want to see, and I got you. We're at 22:78 to go. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you know, even with the Huskies, like, you know, Michael Penix Jr. was my favorite quarterback to watch, and I had Bo Nix, you know, on the Ducks, and it's not like I thought Bo Nix sucked. I thought they were both awesome, but I wanted to make sure to let Husky fans know, like, I really appreciate what I'm seeing out of this quarterback, because those kind of quarterbacks, you may never get another one like that again. And, you know, it was a joy to watch, and then they made it all the way to the Natty. Yeah, they didn't win it, but you put the Pac-12 on your back, and I really respect that. You know, and I always like rooting for Oregon, Oregon State, Washington, Washington State. No disrespect to the California teams. That's separate, you know, but Pacific Northwest, we're built a little bit different. Facts. Now, when I'm playing those teams, of course, I want my teams to win, like Ducks, but I watch a lot of Huskies, a lot of Cougars, a lot of Beavers. Like, it's just something that I've done since a little kid, and I like following everyone. I like to be able to see where greatness is at, even if it's not on my team. 28-7 Ravens, as it's getting a little chippy there. Russell Wilson, short right to Najee. Haven't heard his name all night. 21 yards. First down at the Baltimore 37. Move the chains. Yeah, and I think if we're being honest, the only Astro fans that usually Mariner fans have a problem with are the people that won't admit the cheating happened, or or they're trying to make excuses for it. Like, bottom line, if you cheat, you cheat. But then that happened in the past. Now we can move forward. But when you get those people that will never acknowledge, whether it's Patriot fans, Astro fans, or any fan base that has gotten caught cheating, Red Sox fans, like, if you cheated and did something, just own up and admit that you did it. It's not you personally, but the team did it. But if you can't even admit to something that literally happened, then anything that you say in the chat or in person, you have no credibility, because you're making excuses. So luckily, for some of the Astro fans that I get along with, it's one of those things that we can acknowledge. It happened. We can move on, and it is what it is. Touchdown, Steelers! Russell Wilson to George Pickens. He says, "Oh, dog, I'm fucking mature." Biatch, 28-13, Ravens. Well, he's still not mature, but at least Russ is cooking now. Okay, George, I can finally put your photo up. Look at it. Every time, too. Woo! The athleticism out of George Pickens. It's like, when you watch George Pickens play, it reminds you of Jetta. It reminds you of Jamar Chase. It reminds you of Amon-Ra or Garrett Wilson when he actually gets the fucking ball. Like, these guys are so athletic that he can catch the ball in between two guys, do a spin move casually, and walk into the end zone. Like, he almost looks like men going against boys. He looks like he's on varsity and the corners and safeties are freshmen. Like, unbelievable. Like, how many people could have made that throw and then caught that ball in between two defenders that run into each other, nonchalantly does a spin cycle, whirlpool, spin move, circle button, and then just walks into the end zone. Wow. Where was this in the first half? Where was this in the first half? Better late than never. They heard my fucking they heard my message. They're like, "Oh, they're pacing for 10." Well, they're at least at 14. They're going to lose, but at least now it's a little bit funner to watch. Mike is happy. Mike is happy. Let's get George Pickens up here. Finally, I get to put George up. I mean, he might be the most fucking immature player in the whole goddamn NFL, but God, he's good. And once he gets a chance, the guy is a touchdown machine. Imagine if he actually had a good quarterback. Imagine if he was on the Bills with Josh Allen. Imagine if he was on the Ravens with Lamar. Like, what kind of fucking numbers he could put up. Unfucking real. He's like making Fields and Russell Wilson look like goddamn all-pro. And hopefully one day that immaturity will go away. And again, that probably will happen the day they actually get a better quarterback than Fields and Russ. Like, you get a good quarterback for Pickens, no lie, he could be a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Like, he's got the skill set, the hands, the route running, and he has a smell for the end zone. He did in college, and he definitely does in the pros. He just needs a quarterback to lead him there. He could end up being like the new AB, for Pittsburgh. He could be really, really, really good. Like, he ends up getting one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, he could be the number 1 receiver in the NFL one year. Like, he's that good. If I didn't think he was that good, I wouldn't say it. He's just an immature mother sucker, right? But again, every once in a while, he'll show you who is the real deal Holyfield, and it is George Pickens. Okay, I see you. Thank you for making the game interesting. Amber's liking it. Okay. So far, looking good in the second half, right? Yeah. I mean, imagine if this would have happened in the first half. Not saying the game would be 28-28. Obviously a team that's on a 4-game losing streak. But, man, if they could have just had one touchdown or one field goal in the first half, I mean, just kind of chipping away. Because you got to think, now all you're hoping for as a Steelers fan is that big play on defense, right? That big interception or that big fumble, and then you score immediately off of that play. But the problem is, you got Lamar, you got Derrick Henry, you got Mark Andrews. Like, what are the chances of that happening at this point? I don't know. Probably not very likely. Maybe punching the football out of Derrick Henry or Lamar's hands are more plausible than Lamar throwing a pick probably at this point. But I don't know. We'll see. What did you find, my guy? Did you find a new wrestling figure? What did you find? Did you find a Bam Bam Bigelow? Did you find a Vader? What did you find, my guy? Yeah, they've always had drama at wide receiver. Plaxico Burress, after, leaving there and going to the Giants, shooting himself in the leg. But if you look at Wallace and Plaxico Burress, Hines Ward, they're just dripped in talent. Pittsburgh always has amazing wide receivers, right? And I really like Freiermuth. Like, Freiermuth is a G. Like, I would love to have Freiermuth on my team. I like that guy. Like, he's one of the most likable players on the fucking Steelers. You got TJ Watt, you got Minka Fitzpatrick, you got Cameron Hayward on the defense. But Freiermuth, obviously, very likable. I like his skill set. And then Pickens is obviously the most talented player. But we just need that maturity and a better quarterback. And then he can really start to cook. Oh, wow. Look at that. Interesting. Is that a t-shirt or a jersey? That's interesting. I don't know about the quality and where that's coming from, if that's like China or Bangladesh or some other foreign country in some fucking sweatshop or whatever. Because as you know, with like NFL jerseys and some custom stuff, sometimes the fakes are done well, but sometimes they're not. Floater, incomplete to Mark Andrews, incomplete on first down, second down and 15. Jersey shirt. It's like jorts, right? Jean shorts, jorts. What do you know about your jort game? Yeah, but again, I really like being able to, teach fans of, rival fan bases, to, ease up a little bit. Appreciate the greatness. You never know about that player that you talk shit about in the division. They may be on your team in a few years, like the whole Carson Wentz and Donovan McNabb situation. Imagine being the other fan base and be like, fuck those guys. And then a few years later, Carson Wentz is on your team. Donovan McNabb is on your team. It's like, you never know about that player that you want to talk shit about, and then all of a sudden that's going to be the guy you have to root for. The sports gods have a funny way about doing that. So, but like I said, I don't have the rivalry with the Panthers and the Falcons and the Saints, but again, when I'm playing them, I'm going to want to win. But I appreciate the great players that they have on those other teams. I like rooting for them. I like the conference to be good. I don't want the NFC South to be a laughingstock. I want to be, one of the better divisions, if not the best. Third down and 10. Lamar incomplete to Isaiah Likely. Fourth down and 10 at the Baltimore 30, and they get their stop. What do you know? Pittsburgh's got the Uncle Mo. Yes. Well, you got to think, Justin Herbert had 3 picks all season, the lowest out of any NFL quarterback, and he throws 4 picks in the game. Unheard of. It's like, you couldn't even have predicted that. And there's no scenario that you could have thought that he's going to throw more picks than he's had all season. Fuck no. I like the combo with him and Ladd McConkey, but it shows you they need more. They need better running backs, better offensive line, and better options than Ladd McConkey, and that's it. Quentin Johnston's fucking terrible. That motherfucker might be the worst receiver in football. Every time I turn the TV on, that fucker drops it. Every time. He fucking bobbles it once, twice, 3 times. Like, he could be wide open or double covered. It doesn't matter. It's like, that guy is fucking terrible. But I do love Ladd McConkey, though. Represent the Caucasian persuasion. You've seen some of the, white players really make a name for themselves, right? Ladd McConkey, representing, for the white boys at wide receiver. Fucking love it, right? Cooper DeJean, right? Playing corner. Oh, he can't do it. He's white. It's a black position. right? And what did he do? Had one of the best rookie seasons out of any corner, white or black. Cooper, baby. You know, I like being able to see the diversity, and I like being able to see, a player of a certain race that is dominated by another race, and then they can come in and say, "Hey, I'm a rare breed, but I can do it too." You know, and shout out to those two guys. And there's a few others that I haven't mentioned either. But I like being able to see, the diversity. If we ever see a Latino or an Asian, but usually you're not seeing too many of those, right? So for the time being, it might have to be like a white wide receiver or a white corner, right? Because we see white safeties like Harrison Smith, but corner is a different ball game. Like wide receiver, it's dominated by the brothers, right? But every once in a while, a great white hype, Steve Largent, and a few others will come our way, and you'll be like, wow, you guys kind of good. He's kind of good. But Lad McConkey, he's a G, man. There's a reason when they won 2 natties at Georgia, and he's a big part of that. I'm a big Lad McConkey dude. I like that player a lot. Great route runner, great mindset, great attitude. Like, he could be a starter on any fucking team in the NFL, and he could produce on any fucking team. There's not a lot of guys that you can say that about. That any scheme, any playbook, Lad would succeed in. You know, he's a fucking hard worker, super intelligent. Respect. 28-14, Ravens. I mean, I like to go into these guys' backgrounds. You know, some of y'all, we just watch games, but I mean, I love to research people. See their interviews, see how they talk to their family, the teammates, the coaches. You can really learn a lot about a person on how they talk to other people. Are they entitled? Do they act like they're better than everyone else, or are they different? Do they actually care? Facts. 2nd down and 4. Shotgun set. Wilson. Pass incomplete. 3rd down and 4. We're trying to do some kind of like hurry up here. You just need to settle in. You've already scored on both of your drives in the 3rd quarter. RELAX. Relax. Yeah. But you got to think the Raiders are a dumpster fire, and at least they have one thing that they can be happy about. And they don't usually have too many things that they get happy about. And when they do have something that they get happy about, what do? They trade that happy away, right? Khalil Mack, Josh Jacobs, or anything else that was relatively good. Devontae Adams, So, again, for them to actually have some joy, I know the Colts are very up and down, but, I mean, Raiders are on a whole nother level of, I don't want to say level of stock, but again, one day the Raiders may be good. Russell Wilson pass incomplete to Jalen Warren. 2nd down and 10. I mean, there's certain positions that are dominated by, the white dudes and the black dudes, like offensive line. Defensive line, it's not, crazy to see a white dude or a black dude or a brother, to be great. But there's just certain positions that, are primarily, one particular race kind of dominates the greatness. And every once in a while, when you can see someone come in and show what they can do, and Eminem, like we were talking about earlier on, to come into someone else's world and show, hey, I can do it just as good as you. I'm better than you. I might be the best in the world. And he definitely is arguable one of the best rappers of all time, if not the best. I mean, everyone has their own personal preference, but, you could definitely argue Eminem and people wouldn't bat an eye. They obviously have others that you could mention in that same category, but I like what I'm seeing out of Ladd. I like what I'm seeing out of Cooper, and maybe we'll see a few more in the next few years. It's good for the game. Diversity. Good tackle there by the Ravens on Jalen Warren. Short gain of 2. 3rd down and 8 at the Pittsburgh 44. You're down 14, and we got a Raven injury. Marlon Humphrey. He said, fuck. Yeah. Or, getting a guy like Marcus Freeman being Asian and black. We haven't had a black, coach in the Natty. I mean, he's blazing, baby. You know, it's like, it's cool to be able to see multi-race and, just seeing people, of every different color and race succeed. I love it, man. And it just stinks that racism is just so big in the world, and it's never going to end. But there can be some of us that can try to help, to not be so goddamn biased, and to be able to see some kind of, level-headedness with everything. There's great people of all races, but there's also shitheads of all races too. We got to remember that as well, right? Russell, where are you going? It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a Raven sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Matabuki, Matabuki. Bang! Big sack lunch there. Finally hearing the crowd. End of the third quarter, 28-14 Ravens. First quarter, Ravens. Second quarter, Ravens. Third quarter, Pittsburgh. That's where we're at. But, what are the chances that Pittsburgh scores 14, the Ravens score none, and we go into overtime? What is the percentage of something that insane to happen? Probably less than 1%, right? But again, that's what the Steelers are hoping, that they can win the third quarter and the fourth quarter. But we all know that's not going to happen. Harbaugh's too good of a coach. They'll start pounding the rock with Henry, take the game out of Lamar's hands, so to speak. They can have him use his legs, and they can bleed that clock. At least that's what good coaches do, right? When you're ahead, you bleed that clock. Do a little this, do a little that, a little hurdle, a little high step, a little high five. Crown him. But we definitely got to give love for Russ and Mike and company. They got it done in the third quarter. Made it exciting. All right, Russ, 2 touchdown passes. Van Jefferson, I see you. George Pickens, I see you. Tomlin's like, all right, now I'm not embarrassed. Now it's not 28-0. Still going to lose, but at least they're fighting now. He said, uh-oh, China site. Can't buy it. Unreliable. Gain some more subs. But we just need the people in the room to match the likes, just like what we had last time. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Oh, Nico is already top 10, and Nico has the chance to be top 5. He's that talented. Very, very polished receiver at his age. And if you really look at the receivers that they've had over the years, Andre Johnson and a few others, they've always kind of, DeAndre Hopkins and Andre Johnson, now Nico Collins, and they had Diggs is there, and they had Tank Dell. The Texans, as of late, they have kind of had a nice little string of athletic wide receivers. But I like me some Nico. Nico gets enough opportunities. He could end up being the top, 1, 2, 3 receiver one day, just like Amon-Ra. But it's just, there's so many other weapons. They're not the primary target. Now, if there was less, talent and it was just Nico, right? Holy shit, yeah, he could definitely be in the top 2, top 3. But it's man, there's so many options on that team. And that definitely levels out some of the stats that you would be getting out of Amon-Ra. If Amon-Ra were to surpass Jetta and Chase, it's you would have to get more looks, but they have so many fucking players, Gibbs and Montgomery, looking at all the options that they have, Laporta, and then any of the other random guys that they have on the team. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like the 2 guys that are the most talented that don't get enough credit, and I've already said it many, many times, Garrett Wilson, right, as one, and George Pickens as the other. You may not like either one of them, or you might, but again, if the offensive line and quarterback play were better for those 2 guys, numbers would be fucking through the roof, and they would compete with Jetta and Chase and Amon-Ra and any of your favorite wide receivers, Puka, it would be right there with all of those guys, 100%. But we just have to see if those positions improve for those receivers or if they have to go to another team. But two incredibly talented players. They both have a knack for the end zone. On 2nd down and 1, Henry run backwards there for a loss of 2. 3rd down and 3. Daniel in the building. What's good? And I think with Nico and Garrett Wilson is like, not only can they play like top 10 receivers, they have a chance to be top 5, both of them. And and if that's not something that we would really, actually believe, you think I would say it? Like, so, we got to definitely give those guys a shot at, but I think, Garrett Wilson, as far as maturity, is obviously higher than Pickens, but Pickens has more of that splash ability, like J-Mo or Jahmyr Gibbs. I put him in that same electricity factor where at any given moment, something crazy could happen. And there's not too many of those guys in the NFL, but those three are three of the same. J-Mo, Pickens, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like they, Bucky Irving, you could throw him in there too. Like at any given moment, anything crazy could happen. And they've proven it this year, as well as any other year if you're not a rookie. I like those electric players. Glad Tampa's got some. Shout out to Jalen McMillan. He's a fucking team. If Chris Godwin doesn't sign, based off his injury, they don't want to pay him. We have, McMillan, the talent level to be our wide receiver 2 with Mike Evans, 100%. He's already proven it in his rookie year, which is rare to say. Normally that does not happen. And I love Godwin. I'm going to be fucking sad if, he's not a part of the organization anymore. Even if he's a shadow of himself, I still want him on the team. Chris Godwin. 28-14 Ravens. On 2nd down and 7, Henry run for 3 yards. 3rd down and 4 at the Baltimore 37. Yeah, Devontae is on the decline because of his age, but if Tyreek were to be on the Ravens or the Bills or back on the Chiefs or just go to a team where he gets the ball like he did when he was with Mahomes, he could end up being the number 1 receiver still. I think you have to realize, with his 10 kids and 15 baby mamas and no care for anything on planet Earth but himself, Tyreek is still probably the most gifted athlete that we have. At any position, wide receiver or running back. It just that he got injured this year, got a little lazy, gave up on his team and Tua. But if you give him a good situation, who's to say that Tyreek doesn't run and catch for 2,000 yards combined and score 20 touchdowns? He could do it. There's not many guys that could, but he's one of them. But not in his current situation now with Miami, because obviously he's tired of making babies there in Miami, and he's tired of Tua, and he gave up. Immature. And who's to say if Mahomes can even give the ball to Tyreek the same way that he did early in his career? Maybe Mahomes is on the decline, but we just don't want to say it. Maybe Mahomes can't throw for 5,000 yards anymore. The only way we're going to find out is if Tyreek comes back and if he throws to him often, 1st down, Ravens. And then if he's able to put up 4 or 5, 6,000 yard seasons, and have, big touchdown numbers, 45 touchdowns and 8 picks, then you'll be like, oh, he never left. But maybe Mahomes is on the decline, but even if he is, as long as they're winning Super Bowls, you think Chief fans care? Fuck no. As long as they're winning Super Bowls, by different ways each year, that's all they care about is keep winning. That's all that matters to them. Facts. Yeah. Plus, it's also kind of hard to root for guys that have character issues, like Tyreek and Pickens. Like, it's cool when they score and whatnot, but it's like I like rooting for people that are good people off the field, people that will help other people that are genuine, people that aren't selfish, people that are actually real. That don't cheat or don't do anything questionable. And I know nobody's perfect. Some people fuck up. I've fucked up. A lot of people have fucked up before. But there's a difference between fucking up and learning and the fucking up and continuing to fuck up over and over and over again and not giving a fuck because you're rich or you feel entitled, But like, I don't really like rooting for guys that are kind of suspect people, off the field or off the court. I'll leave that to someone else to root for a guy like that. I like rooting for good people. Lamar, hands off. Yeah, well, like I said, out of all fan bases, Green Bay gets under my skin more than the Saints or the Falcons or the Panthers in the division, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but not every, there's going to be, aggressive, annoying fan bases. There, Packers, Eagles, Cowboys, Saints. There's going to be some that's just how it is, and sometimes the fans know football and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they just like talking shit, and they like stirring the fucking pot, knowing that their team isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl, but they sure talk shit like they think they are every year, and whatnot. And there's going to be good people in that fan base group, and there's going to be some terrible fucking people. I guess it just depends on your personal experience and whatnot, but. Yeah, but the thing is you like Green Bay, so that's why you're saying that. You're defending them because you like Green Bay. You're a Denver fan, but you like LaFleur. You like Green Bay. But if you actually look at it from an outside perspective and look at their fan base, the fan base is kind of like douchebaggery. Like, some of the people are cool, but there's some douchebags that root for that team, and they act like douchebags, like supreme douchebags. So, again, and you're going to get douchebags on every fan base, including my own, right? But I just feel like you get more douchebaggery on social media and in person than other teams. Like, I feel like some people want to think that that's like America's team over like the Cowboys now, and that might be true. Some people might like the cheeseheads and all that shit or whatever, but for a lot of NFC fans that aren't about Green Bay, they're on a shit list. And again, it's not just Tampa or Seattle fans. Like, I feel like AFC fans have said the same thing. So, they might be the most likable douchebaggery team. They might be more likable than the Eagles or the Saints or the Cowboys in their fan base, but that still doesn't give them an excuse for being douchebags. Like, just because you got more likable colors and you're on TV and you're a little bit more likable than the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Eagles, that doesn't give you the right to do douchebag things and say douchebag stuff, right? Not saying you personally, but that's just my experience. So every fan base, is going to have the douchebags. Facts. But some fan bases got a fuckload more. Let me tell you. I just speak the facts. And some fan bases, right, are just like ill-informed. They watch too much like shows on TV, like Cowboy fans. They're delusional because every time they watch ESPN and Fox Sports, they actually think that what those guys say is going to come true. So when they say the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl, they're too dumb to like research other places or watch the games or look at their roster and actually realize we have no chance of winning. Some of the smart Cowboy fans know this, but then you get the delusional ones that, again, it all depends on where you're getting your information from, right? And anything. And then like, are you, a reader? Do you watch film? Do you actually comprehend what you're watching and reading or not? And some fans are stuck in the past, where their best teams were from back in the day. And no one will ever take that away from them. 92, 93, 95, the Cowboys were the shit. I would rooted more for the Niners, in that time period against them. But Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, Leon Lett, Dion, prime time. They were special. Whether Jimmy Johnson or Barry Switzer. But Jimmy was the guy, right? But they haven't been good since, And that's just how it goes, Some fan bases are delusional. But again, it all depends on, not every fan base is smart. Depends on what you're getting your information from. Yeah, and some people, are going to be like, I want, people are like wanting death on, or injury to a player because they didn't win in their bet, they didn't win their parlay or their team lost. It's ridiculous, Mike. Yeah. Every fan base has got terrible fans that make it terrible for the rest of us that try to enjoy what we try to enjoy, But again, I think that it's a fair statement. Some teams have more dumb, annoying fans than others. It's clear because the interactions that we end up having in person, online, it's like, it's like you don't want to judge. You'll give people a shot to prove themselves. But if a fan base keeps fucking up over and over, just even with those kind of interactions, I mean, that's not by just like coincidence. George Pickens with the catch. Ball pops out late. Fans go crazy, but he was done. Yeah. Well, also any fan base that's in your division. Right? You hate them, they hate you. Let's be real. Like, it's all about, can you tolerate the other fan base? And do you like some of their players? Can you, be the better person? A big push off. Pickens loves to push off, but I don't know if they're going to call that one. Pickens with the deep ball is like so money. Like when you see Pickens, if he has one-on-one, like it feels like Julio Jones or Calvin Johnson. And I'm not saying he's as good as those guys, but like whenever you used to see those guys in the prime, and then they would just be like one-on-one, or even if it was one-on-two, you're like, this guy always has a knack of making a play. He did definitely push off there. But the thing that's most impressive with me with Pickens is his hands, right? Not necessarily his route running, but his hands, and then the yak yards. What he does once he gets the football in his hands, like weird shit happens. Like he does spin moves and jukes and hurdles and weird shit that like only like a fraction of guys can do. That's what makes him special. Flag on the play. False start. I mean, I guess it really depends on, who you're a fan of and stuff. But I mean, I imagine there's going to be some, Dodger fan and Yankee fans that are unbearable, but then you're also going to get good fans from that fan base, the success that those teams have had and the history that they have. There's more probably chill Dodger fans than Yankee fans, but, Yankee fans are from New York. They have a little edge to them, You know what time it is? It's 12 noon. You know what time it is? It's time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Russ is like, can you block for me, please? Raven fans, they'd be like, we drunk, we in the front row, we feeling it. We're going to play Buffalo. Away. Yamarabuke, away. 4 sack lunches for the Ravens, 1 for the Steelers. And a 3rd down and 22. Short gain to Van Jefferson for 7. 4th and 15 at the Baltimore 43. But I think, you're going to get, probably in the NBA, you'll get good Laker fans and Warrior fans, and you'll get douchebag Laker and Warrior fans. I mean, you just have to look at the teams that have been good or that have had some success, and then you're going to get the bandwagon fans, and those are the usually ones that end up being like the douchebags that, end up joining the elite squads, and then they don't know anything, and they try to make everyone's life a living hell, right? Or it's someone that's so overly biased that they can't give credit to anyone but their players or team. Going deep, intercepted and dropped. What happened to my hands? What happened to my hands? And that's why you play corner, not wide receiver. Should have caught that. Ravens with the ball. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. All right, bots, give me the likes. We got the people in the room. Let's match that. First, we had 1,200 likes. Then the 1,200 people came. Now you guys are doing it opposite. At least do your boy a solid before the stream ends and match the likes with the people in the room. I mean, you can at least do that for me. They haven't done it yet, though. 3 more to 20. But we would have more than that if we didn't have a bunch of goddamn robots or, whatever this is. But the thing is like we haven't had any of the bots. It's like every stream is so different that, or maybe it's just like, YouTube, they're like, let's give this guy, some pub, So then if some like random person, sees the channel, they're like, ooh, look at this. Compared to if there was like 20 people, maybe that person wouldn't, give it a shot. I don't know what the method to the madness is. If they're just trying to help me out or whatnot, they like me, and whatnot. But I mean, we do deserve to grow. We do deserve to be able to hit 25, 50, 75, 100K subs, and I can say that with 100%, conviction, like I honestly feel that this could be one of the biggest. It's just a matter of, when do the people come? We don't need to go viral. What collab happens or doesn't happen. And I don't, need to piggyback off anybody else, but I'm always willing to work with other people, but some people are trustworthy, some not as much. And, you have to work hard to be able to make your dreams and goals come true. So we're going to keep grinding it out. 28-14 Ravens. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily Pittsburgh doesn't want it. They just don't have, enough to match up. Again, it's just like when you watch teams play like Texas and Ohio State. Texas is good, but they just don't match up with more NFL talent on the Buckeyes. It's like sometimes, you shoot yourself in the foot and, you're the better team and you have self-inflicted wounds and you fuck up and you lose, but if it's like you're going toe-to-toe and that's not the case, you can definitely tell who's the better team, who's got the better players, but ultimately who is winning the battle of the line of scrimmage, right? Pittsburgh started 10-3. They lost 4 in a row. We have never seen a team go 0-4 in the last 4 games and win a playoff game. That doesn't happen. So it's you either know football and the history of it, and if not, then I can educate you and fill you in. But it's like, you want to go 4-0, 3-1 in December, January, not fucking 0-4. They did lose to some good teams, okay? Eagles, right? Ravens. So, Detroit. I think they played some pretty good teams. But with that being said, even losing to some good teams, like you want to be able to at least have a W in December, January, and they just haven't been playing good ball. And some of the games haven't been close either. It's one thing if you go 0-4 in December and you lose all your games by 3, then you're like, fuck, bad luck. You just got screwed. Maybe you should have won 2 out of 4. But if you're getting fucking blasted, that's another story. But this game is like exactly who George Pickens and Russell Wilson are. They can't play consistent, but every once in a while, they give you the magic to make you believe that he is unlimited. He makes you believe that he's matured, George Pickens. So it's like, you get these flash, but you don't get the consistency. And that's why we have a 28-14 score, not 28-28. And also, Pittsburgh's defense isn't the same. Because normally they would be able to keep this closer. But that was before Derrick Henry joined. Derrick Henry joining Lamar is like unfair. It's like you get the best back, not named Saquon. You get the best big physical back in the league, and then you got the most elusive quarterback in the NFL. How is that fair? And it'll be interesting to see Mahomes, Pacheco, Allen, Cook, Lamar, Henry. What two-headed horse is going to come out king? Will it be King Henry? Will it be Josh Allen and James Cook? Or will it be Patrick the Clone Mahomes and his running backs with Pacheco and Hunt? Yeah, well, plus we want the matchup, Ravens and Bills, right? Because you can honestly say, okay, it'll be advantage Buffalo, right? But it's like home team wins when it's like dead even. And that could end up, honestly, Buffalo, Baltimore, if we get that matchup next week, if that's how the bracket lines up, like Captain said, that could literally be the best game in the entire playoffs, besides maybe Lions-Eagles, if we get that. Facts. I'm educating. $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. I mean, you got to think, like, when we go over topics here, and I'm not giving bias, we have less arguments in the room. We can all be appreciative of our favorite team and our favorite players, but we already know, how, fans are, like with your friends or coworkers or other people. Sometimes it's hard to talk rational NFL or college football if they don't know what they're talking about. People that don't know what they are talking about, they can play along for a little while, but for a lot of us, we can definitely tell who knows their shit and who doesn't. Like, why am I having an argument with someone that doesn't know anything? Like, this is pointless. 28-14 Ravens, but we don't have that here. We got some smart mother suckers. You're smart already to begin with, right? But then you being able to learn not only from me, but others, just like a different outlook in life, a different perspective. You guys look offense, I look defense, but I still appreciate the offense and I can watch it that way, but it's all about perspective, baby. 28-14 Ravens. Paisley Pup has entered the room like a stealth. She misses Dad. She misses you guys. But again, we only have 5 contenders. Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions. You can't even say Vikings because, they might lose to the Rams on Monday. I get it, you're 14-3, but you might be the most overrated 14-3. And it's like, I like rooting for Sam Darnold. I like that story. You got drafted, bad team. You didn't play good. And now you're having like your Baker Mayfield moment. I love it. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know if I trust you over Matthew Stafford. Like, I don't know. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Stafford. As I get it, you have Addison and you got Jetta and you got Hawkinson. But it's like, man, I don't know if I can trust you. I want to trust you, but I can't put you in that same category as Baltimore, as like that third team in the NFC. My top 6, it's top 5. Minnesota to me, if they get there, good for them. If they get there, because they're going to have to get past the Lions or Eagles or both or someone. But let get past the Rams first and let me see how you play, and then let's go from there. It's like I could see the Vikings blowing them out and beating them by 17, or I could see them losing by like 10 or 13 and looking terrible. So I don't really know what Minnesota Viking team we're going to get, and it might come down to Van Ginkel and that defense. If the Viking defense plays great, they're going to win. But if they are a little off, and you're going against Puka, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, they might not play their best ball. But if they do, we'll see. We'll see. Love you, baby. You want to lay down? Lay down over here? Lay down over here? The game's almost over, Paisley. I love you. We're going to go on a walk, play some toys. Okay? Love you. Oh, Paisley Pup, Paisley Pup, Paisley Pup. I have never loved anything in my life more than Paisley Pup. It's just an unbelievable feeling, when, I had a childhood, dog, a Samoyed, growing up, and, we had that dog for about 13 years and, ended up getting, sick and, We had to put it down, and it was a very difficult time. But I didn't have the same kind of bond with Gito than I do with Paisley. And to be able to spend, because my first dog was an outside dog. And, Paisley, obviously spends all her time with me inside. And obviously we go on outside adventures, and it's just unbelievable. Like, you can have relationships with people, but man, if you are ever blessed enough to have a special bond, with a dog or a cat, but I feel like dogs, they have more personality and it's harder to manage. For cats, it's a little bit easier to be a little lazy on certain things. Cats are kind of independent on their own, but to be a really, really good dog owner, that takes a lot of fucking skill. There's a little bit more work involved with a dog rather than a cat. And I think a lot of us can agree to that, but again, they both have great personalities and they both can be special, but I feel like, certain dog breeds, man, there's a lot of fucking work that needs to be put in, but the love you get in return, unbelievable. Little short game there by the Ravens. They're trying to close this one out. Less than 2 minutes to go. Good third quarter win for Pittsburgh, not losing 28-0 to show us, hey, Russell Wilson can cook. He may not be unlimited, right? He might be running on E, but every once in a while he can flash and make you say, whoa, he actually can, still throw it a little. But the thing is like he used to be able to do it consistently every quarter, no question, top three, like Aaron Rodgers. And now Father Time has caught up, and, they can still do it once in a while, but not consistently. 27 doll hairs, 73 to go. Help your boy out. Your boy's got a lot of bills. Help your boy out. This is a one-of-one broadcast. You ain't going to see anything like this. Ever. Is it baseball season yet? God, I'm itching. I am itching. I'm itching for NASCAR too. Like I never thought that like my baseball and NASCAR love would get on the level of my wrestling and NFL college football level, but it really, really has. Like, there is no difference between those five things in my life: WWE, wrestling in general, AEW, and anything else. Amazing. College football, amazing, even though it didn't work out for my Ducks this year, but it will one day, right? My Bucks are still in it tomorrow against the Commandos here at 5 p.m. Pacific. Hang out with your boy. We can root for Jaden Daniels and Baker to go off, right? And then you got the Eagles and Packers game earlier on around 1:30. And then you got the Bills and Broncos at 10 a.m. Triple header. And then on Monday, we got Vikings and the Rams live stream, and we'll watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix at the same damn time. And I'll commentate on both of them. It's going to be awesome. But I can't wait for NASCAR and baseball, man. I like having something to look forward to on Sundays. I am a creature of habit, and I need that rhythm and repetition, like an athlete, like when I was younger. To keep me being the best version of me, I need to keep busy. I need to keep doing shit. I can't get to a point where I'm just like, I got nothing to do, and then your thoughts start racing, and a lot of times it's negative thoughts or things that aren't true. Like, you got to keep yourself busy. Derrick Henry, close to the marker. Because if you keep yourself busy, you have no time to be depressed or sad or have weird emotions pop up, unless it's something internally, everyone goes through different things, right? Congratulations to the Texans, 32-12. How you got to do my boy Herbert like that? It's bad enough that the fucking Ducks got obliterated. Then Justin Herbert's got to get obliterated. So that means Bo Nix is going to get obliterated tomorrow too. Is that what's going to happen? God damn it. All the Ducks just have to fucking just get obliterated in the same goddamn year. Sports gods, why? It's like, we get it. It was already painful enough losing that fucking game to the Buckeyes, but they, are looking like they might win it all. We'll see. Them or Notre Dame. But that's how it goes sometimes. You got to feel the pain, right? carries over to the guys in the NFL. You know, Herbert, Payne. They might be Bo Nix Payne tomorrow. You know, they'll have a shot because they got that defense. But, you know, beating Buffalo would have to take a miracle. Let's be honest. But I've seen weirder things happen. You know, if like Nick Benito and the defense get 2 early picks on Josh Allen, that could do it. You know, not saying that they would score off both of those picks, but that would have to happen. If the Broncos are going to win and upset one of the biggest upsets, you know, this year, you know, or make the game closer, they're going to have to get big stops early. Make James Cook fumble, punch it out, intercept Josh Allen twice early, and then maybe we're cooking. But even with all those things that could happen, they could still lose. But, you know, wishful thinking. Well, for me, I played wide receiver, tight end, backup quarterback, just because the quarterback that played actually went to college and won the 100-meter dash and 200-meter dash as a freshman, right? So the guy was our quarterback, and he would just run like sweeps. So he would hike it and then just run to the sideline, and he was just faster than every kid in Pop Warner. And so if you run a 40 in like 4.2 or, you know, low numbers, I mean, how often is a kid that as a freshman is beating juniors and seniors in high school? It shows you the speed that this kid had. So, you know, those are the positions that I played. So, you know, obviously looked up to, you know, Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders and Dion. Those are my guys, you know. And then I always appreciated guys like Derek Thomas, you know, linebacker, and, you know, the old school era, you know, the Reggie White and the Bruce Smiths. You know, I'm an OG, I'm old and whatnot. Lawrence Taylor, you know, except, you know, not the, you know, hookers and the, you know, fun time that he was having and whatnot. So obviously partying around with too many things. Partying. Lawrence Taylor being cray and being crazy. Final score, Ravens 28, Steelers 14. Amber, good seeing you. Tomorrow, Commandos Bucks, 5 p.m. Pacific. And let's do some food photos for the people that donated. But I would say, you know, those are the ones that I really looked up to. You know, the Joe Montana, the Jerry Rice, the Barry Sanders, the Bo Jackson, the Dion, and then, you know, guys like Derek Thomas. You know, and then obviously as I got, you know, older, like Derek Brooks will always be my favorite player of all time. And like as far as me, you know, like I appreciate what Sapp did and Simeon Wright and you know, John Lynch. I love me some Rondé Barber, you know, as well. You know, it's like I'm a Derek Brooks guy. I'm a Rondé Barber guy. I'm a Mike Allstott guy. You know, that's who I am. I still appreciate the others, you know, but guys that stayed home, you know, obviously Sapp and Lynch left. You know, if they would have stayed and been a buck for life, would have been a little bit different. But all right, we're doing food photos for just a few minutes here. Final score, Ravens 28, Steelers 14. Better than 28-0. I started off with Korean barbecue, and then who knows where I'm going to go. I might go barbecue chicken. I might go steaks. You know, I might go Hawaiian food. I might go, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know where I'm going to go. You'll find out. But it'll be HD 4K deliciousness, and I'm bringing you to Flavor Town. You're welcome. The king thanks you. The food is so good, I can't even have the NFL symbol taking the distraction away. It strictly has to be food. That looks amazing. And then I'm hitting you with a Flava. Grilled, hickory smoked, special, uba ribs. Oh my. Yes, please. I haven't had ribs in a minute. Maybe Super Bowl. That might have to be the time. Sucker for a good rib. And there's so many different like styles across the country and marinade. Like, man, Flavor Town. I mean, the Ravens, even with the defense being a little suspect, adding King Henry gives them a dynamic that could, at some point, help them win a Super Bowl or at least get to the Super Bowl. But again, you got three really good teams. You got the Bills, you got the Chiefs, you got the Ravens. You're usually going to have to play at least one of them. One team will have an easy path. The other two are facing each other, and we'll find out who's king. Is it you or is it Josh Allen? We'll find out. But this is the, obviously the defense, you would like the Ravens to be better, but, you got this. That's a special piece that can't be stopped. Only contained to a certain degree. Like, you're not going to stop him. You just got to hope that he doesn't run for over 100 and more than a touchdown. But the guy's got ability to get 100 to 200 on almost any given game and score 1, 2, or 3 times. Hell, he could score 4 times and no one would blink an eye. It's goddamn King Henry. King Henry. Flavor time. I know, Paisley. We're going to go for a walk here in a second. I'm trying to show people Flavor Town, okay? And then we're going to go on a long walk. We're going to play with some toys. You're going to love it. I always make time with Paisley every day. You got to get the toy time in. Who else is going to take you to Flavor Town? Hey. I'm hungry too now. Now I got to take Paisley for a long walk. But this will be a good thing, because now if you haven't had ribs, now you're like, okay, maybe Super Bowl. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be right away, but just planting the seed that, hey, maybe there might be a restaurant, or maybe, I can do this for a special thing, like a movie or a TV show or the Super Bowl. I know whenever I watch something good, one of my favorite shows right now is Dexter Original Sin. You have to have the Showtime, add-on with the Paramount Plus with the Hulu, but it's worth it. And, having a good meal while you're watching your favorite show just makes your fucking favorite show or one of your favorite shows even fucking better. There's nothing better. I mean, it's one thing to watch a game, but I think I enjoy eating a really good meal when I'm watching a movie or a show, or if it's one of the shows in the series and it's you have to pay attention, your phone, you're not on it, you're literally eating and you're watching whatever you're watching, that to me is heaven on earth. Paisley's there right next to me. She's trying to eat my food, and we're watching the new episode, just eating on some delicious flavor. I mean, what is better than that? There's nothing better than that, right? Tell me I'm wrong. And it's cool when you do it with relatives, 4th of July or a barbecue. I don't know, but I think it depends if you're an introvert, and if you kind of alone time, and sometimes it's, just being able to, have your cat or your pup or, there could be another person in the room, but it doesn't have to be, and you can just sit there and watch your favorite show and then go to Flavor Town. I mean, what the fuck is better than that? Not too many things. But I know that now I'm not going to be able to do this because they're expensive, but I am going to plan ahead and, probably not for the Natty for college football, but maybe for the Super Bowl or Daytona 500 or opening day for baseball or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to try to, maybe make this a thing. See, you know what I mean? I'm no amateur, bro. I always bring it with the thumbnails, the photos, the knowledge, everything, bringing the people together. This is not for amateurs here, I got the KC approval, because if the shit was not good, I would be getting called out left and right, not for only my takes, right, but for the photos, right? We got to give it to you. 100. Huh, Paisley? I know, Paisley. I know. I hear you, honey. Okay, I got a real good one here that Chief is going to like because it has fucking fries in it. And I'm like you too, man. I feel like certain people, everyone is different. You're a brother from another mother, but I feel you can have the ribs, but to have the fry or the side piece with it, some people like onion rings, as a side. I love onion rings, but man, a good fry really does take a meal to another level, not just like your McDonald's fries when they're good, they're hot, and when they're, not warmed up or under the heat lamp. You can't reheat McDonald's fries or any of the fast food stuff, but, I'm more of a curly fry, probably guy, number one, but, there's many different fry types that are good, and this would get fucking obliterated. If this was in front of me right now, good night. Don did it. Almost done, honey. All right, Paisley Pop needs her dad. Final score, Ravens 28, Steelers 14. Let's go through the photos one last time. We'll give one last time for the bots to put their like on the stream instead of just watching like a hawk. We go through all the options of the Flavor Town one last time. And then we'll be live tomorrow at 5 o'clock for the Commanders and the Buccaneers. Will my team win? I don't know. But again, we'll put up a fight and it'll be fun. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for my reactions, baby, because they'll be authentic and real. Good, bad, and ugly. But I like the Commandos this year, and so if I lose to them, so be it. But I definitely, I'm not afraid. We won week 1 37-20. So for everyone to pick them and not us, they're the more popular, pick. But don't count out Baker Mayfield after what he's done this year. We got a top 5 offense now. Anything is possible when you're top 5. Facts, facts, facts. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank you for the help with Captain and Sarah with the mod duties. Appreciate that. Final score, Ravens 28, Steelers 14. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. And I'm out. Yes, sir. Bang.